Chapter 181. What seems reasonable doesn't have to be true. Once Yang Chen's words were heard, it immediately shook the minds of the elders, first and foremost Wang Yang. Yang Chen's words were right. Was Pure Yang Palace's reputation lower than that of a few hoodlums? Not only the people who supported Yang Chen, but even all of the other hallmasters showed a smile. Indeed, Pure Yang Palace's method of handling these people was quite mild. Noblemen deceived by the pretense of reason would cause other people to take advantage of them. The few elders looked at each other and the palace master was looking at them. When everyone's gazes met, all of them could see the approval in the eyes of each other. Good, we will handle them as Yang Chen has proposed. The palace master immediately made his decision. All Master Zhu, tomorrow morning you must warn the people of that clan that, if they dare to babble nonsense and slander my Pure Yang Palace's reputation again, they must not blame Pure Yang Palace for being merciless. Also, give a prior notice to the people of the other sects that the reputation of my Pure Yang Palace cannot be tarnished by such people. No one opposed this decision, not even Liang Xiaoming said anything. Yang Chen's words were quite rational. Was the reputation of Pure Yang Palace even lower than that of some hoodlums? Would fighting against them prove this? Zhanxian was delighted. He could just barely deal with those people every day. Although he was not happy within his heart, he also could not use malicious words while talking face to face. After today, he could finally blow off his steam. The gloominess which had accumulated in the past few days had also been completely dispersed. If that clan still dared to babble nonsense, Zhanxian could greatly embarrass them. However, there is still Lianyan. He won't be as easy to handle as that clan. Liang Xiaoming turned the subject towards Lianyan. He himself is a famous pill concocting master. Moreover, he also participated in the refining of the heaven-seizing pill. Many people trust his words. Forgive this disciple for being impudent. Before anyone could say anything, Yang Chen rushed to open his mouth and replied to Liang Xiaoming. Right now, disciple is also a famous and reputed pill master and has also participated in the refining of the heaven-seizing pill. The meaning of these words was clear. There was no need to attach any importance to Lianyan. Without hesitation, Liang Xiaoming immediately wanted to berate Yang Chen. You're just a trifling foundation stage youngster, even if you can concoct pills, you have just started doing so. How dare you compare yourself with a union stage pill concocting master? But he wasn't able to say anything. Not to mention that Lianyan was no longer at the union stage, just talking of the heaven-seizing pill, Yang Chen was considered far more important than him. Moreover, in front of so many elders, how could he dare to speak about another person's ambition and ruin his own reputation? If his words are reasonable, other people will definitely believe him. Although he was extremely furious in his heart, Liang Xiaoming replied very gently. Other people wanted to speak with you, and we cannot always be barbarous and unreasonable. While Yang Chen and Liang Xiaoming were wrangling, the other people present did not interrupt in the slightest. Everyone was simply listening and looking at the show presented by Yang Chen and Liang Xiaoming. What reason? Yang Chen retorted with a smile. That the pill which I refined for restoring the pill spirit coincidentally worked on a failed heaven-seizing pill, and that's how I got the pill recipe for the heaven-seizing pill. Since so many people are also speaking against it. Liang Xiaoming conceded. We have no choice but to deal with it. Which other people? Yang Chen suddenly asked with a smile. Have there been people from the greatest heaven sect whom you wanted to give the responsibility of presiding over justice? The Clear Sky sect, Five Phases sect, the Green Jade Immortal Islands or some other big Dao sect? Which of these have spoken? This. Liang Xiaoming was unable to speak, so he could only admit. No, they haven't said anything. But he immediately thought of something. They are all famous and prestigious sects. When they open their mouth, it will determine the outcome. Since they didn't understand it clearly before, making a judgment would be inconvenient. Then according to the words of Hallmaster Liang, they haven't reached any conclusion, right? Yang Chen keenly took hold of the idea within Liang Xiaoming's words and immediately asked back. Since they don't have any problems, why are we still worried about anything? Then unanimously we also don't have to mind it. Liang Xiaoming seemed to not reason against Yang Chen's argument and could only take the stance of someone thinking about his sect while wrinkling his brows. When has my Pure Yang Palace's conduct become so servile that we have to care about what people are thinking of us? Yang Chen strangely asked. What's honest is honest, and what's muddy is muddy. A few insignificant people only had to spout some nonsense, and we immediately started caring about how they think of us. After all was said and done, the Pure Yang Palace was still a second-rate sect. From elders to disciples, nobody had developed the confidence like the people from the Greatest Heaven sect or the Five Phases sect or any such big sect. Even if there had already been a great amount of change, gaining a Dacheng stage expert and also possessing many Yuning stage experts, it still had a weak background. Would these trifling people have dared to talk about the greatest heaven sect like this? Even after the incident at the desolate valley, apart from talking in private, how many people would have dared to criticize it in public? Also, wasn't it only a few of the big sects that had such confidence? What Yang Chen wanted to do was to slowly uplift the pure Yang Palace to gain that kind of confidence. Even he himself was not sure what he had to say to make those people shut up. If we handle it like this, wouldn't people say that our sect has started to behave tyrannically? Liang Xiaoming naturally didn't agree with Yang Chen and asked a rhetorical question. Will those criticizing people have any proof? Yang Chen directly looked in the eyes of Liang Xiaoming and raised his voice a little, but continued for everyone to hear. Like the greatest heaven sect has arranged a spell formation at the desolate valley to collect the fifth earth true Kai, will they have such conclusive proof? No, they won't. Liang Xiaoming suddenly discovered that he himself surprisingly didn't have confidence equal to this youngster, Yang Chen. With an empty voice he said. Only that Lianyun's words are irrefutable. Moreover, his analysis is also quite reasonable, that would be difficult to deal with. After all was said and done, he just used He Lianyun opinion. Then the pure Yang Palace should forcefully request people from the big sects and ask for He Lianyun to agree to a confrontation with this disciple in their presence and demand that he produce irrefutable proof. I wonder if Senior He Lianyun will dare or not. Yang Chen was completely aware of He Lianyun's cowardice. He had no problem with He Lianyun saying anything, but he wanted him to agree to a confrontation in the presence of people and give irrefutable evidence, or he would be offending the entire pure Yang Palace. But how would he dare? Otherwise, at that time, he wouldn't have obediently handed over the real Sun Fire under Elder Wu's threat. This is a good option. Before Liang Xiaoming could open his mouth, the palace master interrupted and turned to Zhanxian. All Master Zhu, after warning those people tomorrow, inform them that, if they are not convinced, then they can find their only witness He Lianyun, and in the presence of the experts from these sects, he can provide conclusive proof, which will confirm the truth. My pure Yang Palace cannot bear the endless slandering of the sect's reputation. The palace master, who had been in a good mood all along, revealed a trace of killing intent while saying this. Everyone immediately realized that, if he wasn't able to provide conclusive proof, he better imagine the consequences of slandering the pure Yang Palace. Although pure Yang Palace was a second-rate sect, it had already gained a defying stage expert and its strength had increased greatly and it had started walking on the path of a first-rate sect. Even if it was a second-rate sect, it could still not be slandered by any random person. When pure Yang Palace made the threat on the next day, those people who had originally been quite threatening immediately began to give in. The people of that clan, how could they still dare to say anything? They obediently retreated, thinking about how to handle this matter, or better yet, find He Lianyun. He Lianyun was a loose cultivator. Although his school had some disciples, it didn't have any great strength. If he was still at the Yuning stage, then perhaps some people would have tried to help him, currying favor with a Yuning stage pill concocting master, but at the moment he didn't have many people who looked favorably on him. And those numerous cultivators who were adding fuel to the fire to increase the pressure on pure Yang Palace were hoping that it would give in, allowing everyone to get some benefits. But when the pure Yang Palace took a tough stance, asking for He Lianyun to produce evidence in front of everyone, who would still dare to take the side of He Lianyun? If they had any such proof, why would they act like rascals? They would have directly gone to a big sect and asked for them to speak justice. Using such underhanded methods clearly showed that they didn't have any certainty and only wanted to take advantage of the crisis. As for the confrontation, that was even more impossible. How could He Lianyun possibly have the guts to do it? Precisely, right now, he also had to think about settling the rage of pure Yang Palace. He had to find a sufficiently strong supporter to lean on. To stick in support in that clan's fate, he would certainly not want calamity to befall him. Among the sects, apart from mortal enemies, who would incur the hatred of a sect over an imaginary rumor? Even in his previous life, when the greatest heaven sect was dealing with pure Yang Palace, they knew that they had to eliminate the pure Yang Palace completely, that's why they took to such reckless behavior. Without such determination, who would stick out their neck for few hoodlums? Pure Yang Palace's tough stance made both He Lianyun and that clan's people turn into ostriches. However, after 2 months, pure Yang Palace went ahead to welcome more than 10 special guests. These guests included people of a few big sects, headed by the greatest heaven sect, and people from an alliance of loose cultivators coming together. The Clear Sky sect, the Five Phases sect, the Green Jade Immortals Island, all of them had a share. When they arrived at pure Yang Palace, they were quite polite towards pure Yang Palace, saying that they wanted to help save their reputation, but they still required to talk to Yang Chen properly to get to the bottom of the matter. These delegates had taken the stance of being helpful to pure Yang Palace, making pure Yang Palace unable to refuse. However, among them, the people from the Alliance of Loose Cultivators seemed to be quite aggressive, which made Palace Master Zhang unhappy. The outcome became clear very quickly. Seeing that the events were far from encouraging, Lianyun had turned to the Loose Cultivators Alliance. The Loose Cultivators Alliance also had a Dacheng stage expert. Combined with the other experts of the Loose Cultivators Alliance, they had to investigate the matter clearly. However, speaking frankly, all of these people just wanted to use this for their gain. Yang Chen was led to these people by the Palace Master. After making his greetings, he sat down in front of them, waiting for their questions. Yang Chen, we all have good intentions. The representative from the Greatest Heaven sect opened his mouth. The Lianyun participated with you in the refining of the heaven-seizing pill. It seems as if some misunderstanding was created at that time and we will try to clarify it so as to avoid hurting your and Pure Yang Palace's reputation. So if we offend you, we ask you to bear with it. Seeing the other party, a Yuning stage expert talk so amiably, Yang Chen also couldn't deny them and could only respond with, "You flatter me, senior, whatever doubts you have, just ask." This time, what do you think about what Lianyun said? Although it is just his analysis, there is some reason in it. Greatest Heaven Sect's expert was still as polite as before and asked with a smile. Do you agree? Apparently they had already reached an agreement, only this expert from the Greatest Heaven Sect would speak and the other people would not open their mouths and just listen quietly. Yes, it is somewhat reasonable. Yang Chen nodded his head but also didn't deny it. Somewhat reasonable is good, haha. The smile of the face of the representative asking questions widened even more. The Lianyun doesn't hold any conclusive proof, after all, who knows if you have the pill recipe or not. This is not good, but it is also not good to denounce someone, we all were thinking of hearing your explanation on this. Many more matters also seem reasonable. Yang Chen didn't seem too nervous and replied with a smile. Senior, but an argument having reason doesn't mean that the matter is true. What does that mean? The smile of the other person didn't lessen and his voice was also free of tension. Things that seem reasonable, why aren't they true? I will ask seniors to forgive this junior for being impudent. Yang Chen smiled at the Palace Master sitting on one side and then calmly said. The Greatest Heaven Sect has a Ying transformation pill, the 5 Phases Sect also has a Nirvana pill. These two types of elixirs have nearly the same use, both are used by peak Jidan experts after Ying transformation. This was something known to nearly everyone, so nobody had any problem. Yang Chen also didn't speak nonsense and picked at the theory behind these two pills, their refining method, the ingredients used and so on, and analyzed it once. Naturally, it was just a shallow analysis, after all he didn't have the perfect pill recipe, but the analysis was not far from the truth. These two elixirs are quite similar, even 90% of their ingredients are the same, but the Nirvana pill came out first, and the Ying transformation pill appeared some time after it, such a coincidence. Yang Chen concluded beaming with smiles. Seniors, do you believe that the Ying transformation pill recipe is a copy of the Nirvana pill's recipe? Seniors, do you think that this junior's analysis is quite reasonable? The complexion of the representative of the Greatest Heaven Sect changed. He was not smiling anymore. Moreover, the complexion of the representative of the 5 Phases Sect also changed. When he looked at the Greatest Heaven Sect's representative, there seemed some other motive. All of the representatives started looking at each other in dismay. Complete nonsense. The representative of the Clear Sky Sect clapped his hand and berated Yang Chen. These are all rumors, you don't even have the pill recipe, how can you dare to spread such a misconception? Many thanks, senior, for providing justice. Yang Chen immediately stood up and cupped his hand towards the representative. Finally this junior has been proven innocent. Lianyun also hasn't seen the pill recipe, how can he dare to spread such a misconception? If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 182 There is no method to determine if it is genuine. The Palace Master, Zhang Jiao, also heard this, and when he heard this, his face showed a smile. Looking at those representatives, his heart was completely relaxed. The group of people had come over wanting to use the argument that what Lianyun said was reasonable to make Yang Chen admit that he had the heaven-seizing pills recipe. However, they hadn't expected Yang Chen's analysis would create such a complex problem between the Greatest Heaven Sect and the 5 Phases Sect. This was simply reaping what they had sown, so how could the Palace Master watching from the sidelines not be happy about it? These kind of matters cannot be confused with each other. From the other side, a representative of the Loose Cultivators Association immediately spoke up. That is correct. Yang Chen didn't refute him and admitted with a smile. However, if you don't wish to consider this matter, this junior has heard of another rumor which involves your precious alliance. Yang Chen raised another rumor about a magic weapon secretly manufactured by the elder of the Loose Cultivators Alliance, which surprisingly resembled a powerful treasure of the Greatest Heaven sect. There were a lot of similarities, everyone had heard this rumor many times. Yang Chen once again analyzed and reached a very reasonable conclusion that the Alliance's elder had stolen the secret method of refining from the Greatest Heaven sect. Venomous slander. The elder of the Alliance was enraged and slapped the table, starting to berate Yang Chen in a loud voice. "Many thanks, Senior, for providing justice." Yang Chen replied with the same sentence. "The Lianyun is indeed a lowly person and has used venomous slander." Using the other person's words to refute themselves, Yang Chen simply provided an explanation. After the two examples he gave, not only could the group of delegates not determine if he had the pill recipe of the heaven-seizing pill, they actually became extremely careful of each other. Saying anything more is pointless. Just take out whatever pill recipe of the heaven-seizing pill you have and it will be clear by testing it once. Finally, the representative of the Loose Cultivators Alliance, He Lianyun's support, spoke diplomatically and bluntly expressed his greed. Easy. But Yang Chen agreed, placing much emphasis on this, as if he had blurted it out accidentally. Once these words came out, the ones who were amazed and turned pale in fright were not only those delegates, even the palace master Zhang Jiao was affected. Just as he was about to warn Yang Chen, the representative started speaking. "You're willing to take out the pill recipe?" "I can take out the pill recipe." Yang Chen again expressed his intentions clearly. "Only, Senior, how do you intend to authenticate it? Do you even know the genuine recipe for the heaven-seizing pill? Isn't this simple?" With Yang Chen willing to hand over the pill recipe and repeated provocation, the representative of the alliance was unable to think calmly, so without much thought, he immediately spoke. "Wouldn't refining it once in accordance with the pill recipe make it clear? Senior is indeed an expert. You have this junior's admiration." Yang Chen immediately showed his approval to that person and with a smile across his whole face he said. When Junior had refined the simple foundation stage pill, out of 10 attempts 5 had failed. But Senior surprisingly requires only one try to refine the heaven-seizing pill. Can Senior be the #1 pill concocting master in the world? The representative of the alliance had originally thought that as long as Yang Chen handed over the pill recipe, everything else would be easy to deal with, but he hadn't anticipated that he would be put in such awkward position. When Elder Wu had refined the heaven-seizing pill, it could already be considered as extremely fortunate that he was successful in only one try. Elder Wu himself had thought that he had to have used up his entire luck in refining the heaven-seizing pill in this one try, but other people trying to refine it in one attempt was simply a dream. For Dacheng stage expert, the heaven-seizing pill was the same as the yin and yang nature pill for a foundation stage cultivator. Even if Deng Yi and Zhu Peng refined it again, their success rate wouldn't be more than 50%. When they would refine the heaven-seizing pill again, even 1% success rate would be a great fortune for them. After refining many times, wouldn't there be success at least once? The alliance representative's complexion turned red and he hastily explained. Wow, the noble alliance is truly rich and imposing, this junior is in awe. Yang Chen again raised his thumbs towards him. It can even easily obtain high-quality blue-green zoysia. The Dacheng stage demon beast's constituent spirits are also easily available to you. Is it possible for this lowly junior to get some benefits and buy one or two? Senior can rest assured, I will pay the market price. This time, the representative of the alliance didn't know how to deal with this. His expression seemed to convey he was completely embarrassed, unable to even move his limbs. But the rage on his face flourished more and more. It is embarrassing, but this junior still has a few questions which this junior wants to ask the seniors. As if he hadn't seen his expression, Yang Chen immediately turned to the representative sitting in front of him and cupped his hands. If the refining fails, how can seniors determine if the success rate was low or the pill recipe was wrong? Nobody had a clear answer to this question. Originally the success rate of the pill was very low, so if the refining failed, nobody could clearly determine if it was because of the ingredients, the method or actually the pill recipe being wrong. Even if the refining is successful, do seniors intend to find a Dacheng stage expert who is about to ascend to determine if the heaven-seizing pill is fake or genuine? Without caring for what these people were thinking, Yang Chen immediately threw out another question. If there is a Dacheng stage senior who ate the pill but failed in his tribulation, would it be considered as a problem of the heaven-seizing pill or the Dacheng stage expert? The heaven-seizing pill would only increase the chances for success of passing the tribulation, but it did not guarantee it. This was common knowledge which almost everyone knew. So if it couldn't be distinguished properly, what proof could anyone have? Leaving aside the fact that the success rate of refining a heaven-seizing pill was extremely low, where could so many Dacheng stage experts, who were just about to ascend, be found to authenticate it even if the refining was successful? Even if so many defying stage expert could be found, who would be willing to turn into a guinea pig? In case Yang Chen Mr. added another ingredient, just as he himself had said before, the heaven-seizing pill would turn into a life-seizing pill, so who would be willing to bet on Yang Chen's character? I'm willing to help as long as seniors can answer this junior's question. A gentle smile made its way onto Yang Chen's face, and he respectfully said. This junior will offer you the pill recipe which this junior knows. How could they reply? Among these people, the highest cultivator was at the pecuning stage, and the possibility of reaching defying stage was still uncertain for them, so how could they speak for a group of defying stage experts? Just as Yang Chen had said, even if he handed over the pill recipe, nobody would know if it was genuine or fake, so why go to other people to determine if their pill recipe was the pill recipe of the heaven-seizing pill or not? In addition, as if he wanted to crush these people to death with his words, he continued to speak. If, after using the lives of tens of hundreds of defying stage experts, the pill recipe was found to be fake, this junior requests seniors to take his place and receive justice. He Lianyan has slandered this junior and my Pyongyang palace, so he cannot be let off lightly. The faces of those more than 10 representatives sitting in front of Yang Chen turned bright red. Initially they had thought that maybe this time they would be able to obtain the pill recipe for the heaven-seizing pill, but it turned out to be just a dream. Elder Wu's ascension had indeed provoked a group of people, everyone was thinking that the heaven-seizing pill was great. While, in reality, the heaven-seizing pill was still great, but people forget about the troubles it brought with it. If a heaven-seizing pill could just be obtained by getting the pill recipe, then it wouldn't be called heaven-seizing pill. A sect which had more than 100 defying stage experts who could come and verify if the pill recipe was genuine or fake, and moreover could also easily obtain blue-green zoysia hundreds of times, as well as constituent spirits of defying stage demon beasts, regardless of which sect it would already be unrivaled in this entire world. Why would it still need to use some crisis to gain something from Pyongyang Palace? Leaving aside the fact that the heaven-seizing pill would increase the chances of success in ascension, for the people participating in this matter, it was something a long time in the future, so even if they could get the pill recipe, they may not find the ingredients, and even if they could find the ingredients, they may not be able to refine it successfully. So if the word spread that they acted like this with a foundation stage junior, they would certainly lose face. Finally at this moment, the representatives who had come today were all extremely embarrassed. They couldn't stand, they couldn't sit, they couldn't walk or leave, unable to even speak in their embarrassment. Each one of them was feeling extreme regret and boundless resentment at the same time. Yang Chen's final words just a moment ago targeted these people's resentment at Lianyan. If it were not for that culprit inciting the quarrel, why would they have been embarrassed? At the same time, they didn't have any favorable opinion of Yang Chen and the Pyongyang Palace, but at this moment they were sitting in the territory of the Pyongyang Palace, so regardless of their hatred, they could only endure it. Yang Chen had already returned to Palace Master Zhang Jiao's side, and both of them were beaming with smiles, while appreciating the wonderful expressions on the faces of these representatives. After a good moment, the Palace Master coughed, attracting the attention of everyone. Fellow Taoists, many thanks for your concern regarding my Pyongyang Palace's reputation. This time the misunderstanding regarding my Pyongyang Palace has been completely cleared up, all thanks to the contributions of these fellow Taoists. Palace Master's words were quite sly. With the premise of clearing up a misunderstanding, he had regained his good name again. But whatever he said, these people couldn't refute him. Since they were unable to prove if it was a genuine pill recipe for the heaven-seizing pill or not, why should they become the vile characters here? It sure is a misunderstanding, I say. Pyongyang Palace has been famous for its righteousness and honesty, how could they steal the property of someone's ancestor? Immediately, someone picked up Palace Master Zhang Jiao's words to disentangle themselves. After that there weren't any problems for Yang Chen or the Palace Master. With the assistance of a group of elders, they arranged a great feast for the representatives of the big sects and the alliance for helping them in clearing up the misunderstanding. Afterwards the representatives jointly issued a high-profile statement in which the matter of the pill recipe for the heaven-seizing pill was completely based on a misunderstanding. People were just spreading falsehoods and should not be trusted. Afterwards the Palace Master, with assistance of the group of elders, reluctantly, sent the representatives off and followed them with his eyes until they disappeared, flying on their flying swords. The Palace Master Zhang Jiao could not help but feel relaxed in his heart and immediately burst out laughing when everything was over. The group of elders didn't know the details, but seeing the Palace Master laughing so heartily, they could not help themselves and started inquiring about it. The Palace Master would naturally not conceal such a joyous matter, it had to be shared with all of his fellow disciples. When the Palace Master told them about the events from beginning to end, repeating Yang Chen's words, including their expressions at the end, the other elders also could not help themselves and burst out laughing. This kind of satisfactory affair should be recorded in golden letters. The matter of the heaven-seizing pills recipe had evaporated with the declaration of the big sex and the alliance. All rumors disappeared completely into thin air. Even if someone recalled it, it was only considered as a topic of idle chatter and not some great opportunity. As for the people involved, they had either turned into a joke or complete villains who had to be purged. As for that clan, they hadn't gained anything after making so much noise, other than the reputation of being hoodlums. As for Zhanxian, he was called from the alliance from whom he had asked for help and was humiliated greatly by an elder who had great authority. Not killing him was already lenient. Battered and exhausted, Zhanxian had turned into a target of scorn and had no choice other than colluding with the people of that family. Although that clan had been turned into a joke, they still had a lot of manpower which could be used. Also, even if Zhanxian was of no use, he was still a successful pill concocting master. Both sides once again started to collude for their nefarious aims. Their common enemy was Yang Chen, this was the understanding between them. Nobody remembered that it was not Yang Chen who went after them and turned them into enemies, apparently they had mutually decided to forget this point selectively. But one thing that they did not forget was that the humiliation had to be paid back. Zhanxian had already thought about this deeply. Even when Yang Chen was at the foundation stage, he had such great knowledge and experience, moreover he was also capable of refining an elixir to restore the pill spirit. Even if he didn't have the pill recipe for the heaven-seizing pill, there was still another thing. Pure Yang Palace also didn't have any great or famous pill concocting master, then the only explanation was that Yang Chen had at least some kind of rare record of pill concocting. He had to get hold of this rare record, whatever means he had to use. Moreover, Yang Chen had to die, but before he would die, Zhanxian still wanted to snatch the real sun fire back from Yang Chen to wipe away his previous shame. As long as he could get his hands on the flame and the rare record, Zhanxian was convinced that he would surpass Deng Yi and Zhu Peng, becoming the #1 pill concocting expert in this world. Only at that time, when everything would go his way could he be proud of himself. But this was all possible only if Yang Chen had not absorbed the real sun fire. Zhanxian didn't think he could, but after seeing Yang Chen's cultivation and his control of fire, he wasn't sure. If he had absorbed it, then Zhanxian had only one option. He could only ask Yang Chen to willingly hand over the flame. This was a great inconvenience because, knowing Yang Chen's craftiness, he knew there wouldn't be any opportunities. Moreover, it was said that Yang Chen had 2 Yuaning experts following him, so attacking him also wouldn't be easy. He had to find some other method to do it. That clan still firmly believed that Yang Chen had forcefully stolen their ancestors' pill recipe and viewed Yang Chen as a thorn in their side, their mortal enemy. The group of people immersed themselves in bitter cultivation and began to wait for the day when they could take their revenge. After suffering in humiliation for many days, Zhanxian's disciple obtained an important piece of information from some mysterious person and hastily reported back to Zhanxian. Yang Chen completely obeyed his master Gao Yu, moreover, he also greatly cared about her. As long as Gao Yu said anything, Yang Chen would absolutely not disobey. Although dealing with Yang Chen was not easy, his master had recently sealed her own cultivation for some mysterious reason, which nobody knew and had begun to cultivate a water-attributed cultivation method from the Kai layer, thus becoming extremely weak. Hearing this, Zhanxian's eyes immediately shone. An opportunity had come. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 183 They are in big trouble. How should we take care of the dead of that clan and Zhanxian? After calling in Yang Chen, these were the first words of the palace master. If anyone dares to accuse the disciples of my Pure Yang Palace unjustly and is let off so lightly, wouldn't my Pure Yang Palace be considered a pushover in the future? Yang Chen was at the Nine Earth Manor, performing the duties of the merit-transferring disciple, when he was suddenly called in by the palace master. On the way, he kept thinking about what kind of thing could have happened. Hearing the palace master's words, Yang Chen smiled and said, "I think the sect shouldn't pay any attention to this matter. There shouldn't be anyone who thinks that, after accusing my Pure Yang Palace's disciple and trying to steal our property, they can still remain safe and sound." The palace master smiled towards Yang Chen and said, "They must pay their debts. I know about your grievance." The palace master paused for a moment and then calmly said, "But everyone in this place knew that the clan was the owner of the heaven-seizing pill, therefore they had previously no option but to shift the blame onto you, but since everything has become clear now, it is time for those people to pay their debts." As for Yang Chen not making any complaints previously, that was just drivel, but Yang Chen knew that strong public opinion was enough to melt steel beams. Even in his previous life, Yang Chen and Pure Yang Palace were definitely the victims, but when those people published their views, they just gave Pure Yang Palace another appearance. The appearance of someone overestimating their abilities and deserving to be punished. Therefore, he previously observed public opinion in great detail, even when those people were criticizing them. The first thought of Yang Chen was to protect Pyongyang Palace's reputation. Since the palace master had finally decided to counterattack, Yang Chen was naturally extremely happy. I am only informing you once, so that you don't keep thinking about it and focus on cultivation. Palace Master Zhang Jiao cared greatly about Yang Chen. Currently the eccentrics hall of Pyongyang Palace wouldn't have been established without Yang Chen's support. Furthermore, considering Yang Chen's previous performance, it made him a very influential figure within Pyongyang Palace, even though he was only at the foundation stage. When do you wish to attack? Yang Chen was very satisfied regarding this matter and inquired further about it. When do you think we should attack? The palace master wanted to test Yang Chen with this question to see if he could handle the responsibility. After all, this time, the greatest victim was Yang Chen himself. Right now. Yang Chen was a little impatient. Since they had tried to forcibly rob him, they could not blame him for being fierce. I will go together with Hallmaster Gi, we should be enough. The Dacheng stage expert together with Yang Chen going to eliminate a clan which had already declined a long time ago, together with the stray dog Lianyun, there shouldn't be any accident. Zhang Jiao had already anticipated that Yang Chen would wish to go himself, so he didn't obstruct him and nodded in agreement without saying another word. Yang Chen almost jumped up standing and turned around to go to the eccentrics hall. Gi Shanyu was resting in the big room with his eyes closed when he sensed Yang Chen coming from far away. He immediately stood up and without hesitation welcomed him. Senior, let's go to kill some people. Yang Chen didn't talk much rubbish and stated his purpose for coming in one sentence. To make people realize that they won't be let off lightly after provoking my Pyongyang Palace. Lead the way. Gi Shanyu was similarly rejuvenated, apparently guessing long ago whom Yang Chen wanted to kill and immediately walked after him without any preparation. In fact, there was no need for preparation, he already had his Qianqin pouch on him and Gi Shanyu didn't need to be careful about these people. Just when he was about to set off, he suddenly thought of something. Apparently Master Gao Yu's current experience did not make Yang Chen feel relaxed. After all, one was a problem regarding strength, the other was regarding one's attitude. Sometimes, his master's heart was somewhat flexible, she didn't seem to completely understand the dangers on the path of cultivation. Perhaps, this would be a good opportunity to let her have a taste of it. And same as Gao Yu, there was someone else who had this problem, that was his talented senior apprentice sister, Gongsun Ling. Gongsun Ling's cultivation perception was astonishing, but she didn't have many life and death experiences. In his previous life, this had led to her failing in her tribulation and everything being ruined at the last step, so it didn't need to be said that she should also come along to gain some experience. Eliminating that clan and Lianyun. After hearing Yang Chen's invitation, Gao Yu immediately stood up without saying anything and followed him. She had observed everything that Lianyun and that clan did to slander Yang Chen and was furious, but since the palace master hadn't said anything, she also didn't dare to act without thinking. But with the sect leader's command, there was no need to worry about other things, first she had to avenge Yang Chen's grievance. Everything else would come after that. Experience. Since Gongsun Ling didn't understand everything, she hesitated a little. Younger apprentice brother, is this the time for gaining experience? Haven't I just recently returned from the Immortal Falling Well? Gongsun Ling had been immersed in that illusion spell of the senior and her research had already been nearing completion and was at the most crucial point, so she was not very excited about going. Senior apprentice sister, did you meet those people at the Lilu village who made things deliberately difficult for you? Yang Chen asked with some curiosity. No, I didn't. Gongsun Ling shook her head with a smile. They were all extremely considerate. Are people so different from each other? Yang Chen only had to think for a moment to get to the solution. On one hand, Elder Wu hadn't ascended at that time, so with Yang Chen and Elder Wu's relationship, who would dare to offend Yang Chen's senior apprentice sister? Moreover, many people wished to establish a relation with Yang Chen, this future high-grade pill concocting master, so showing consideration for Yang Chen's senior apprentice sister was a given. There was one more reason. Gongsun Ling was a beautiful woman, frankly speaking, she could be regarded as an exceptionally beautiful woman. Wherever beautiful women were, they would always be popular. The cultivation world was no exception, so some consideration was inevitable. Senior apprentice sister, what do you think is the aim of learning through experience? Yang Chen asked a question. To increase experience and fighting experience. Gongsun Ling was no fool, she naturally understood what Yang Chen wanted to say. I have fought with those underground spirit beasts in the Immortal Falling Well with great effort, I didn't waste these 10 years. Yang Chen believed her. After she returned, her killing intent was completely genuine, she had clearly worked hard in the Immortal Falling Well. Senior apprentice sister, did you receive any injuries in the Immortal Falling Well? Yang Chen asked with a smile. No, I didn't. Gongsun shook her head. You said that, when fighting with someone, one must properly familiarize oneself with the opponent and find his weaknesses. When I dealt with those underground spirit beasts, I scored complete victories. While saying this, Gongsun felt quite proud. Alas. Yang Chen heaved a long sigh. It is quite troublesome that you didn't sustain any injuries. Senior apprentice sister, in the future you will not always confront enemies whom you can defeat and neither will you never suffer injuries. Have you thought about what your response would be if you suffered injuries? Whether you should fight on with all of your might? Or whether you should flee immediately? Or perhaps you wouldn't know what to do. Gongsun had apparently never thought about such a problem before. Yang Chen's question was like a deafening blast in Gongsun ears. From the beginning, Gongsun understanding of learning through experience was completely different from Yang Chen's thoughts. This was not only Gongsun problem, but rather the problem of the entire Puryang Palace. For Yang Chen, it was one of the reasons why Puryang Palace was exterminated in his previous life. Puryang Palace had always been extremely moderate, everyone there only thought of immersing themselves in cultivation, without paying any attention to the outside world. Aside from matters that had some relation with them, they would only use force as a last resort. This gained the Puryang Palace a reputation of being an upright and honest sect, but it didn't have the slightest bit of use regarding the expansion of Puryang Palace. Puryang Palace didn't have the slightest desire for a power struggle, but others didn't think so. On the contrary, they thought that it was just an angle to gain fame. Puryang Palace had also defended its disciples several times, making people think that Puryang Palace had an ulterior motive and was hiding its strength, further adding to the evil designs that the greatest heaven sect had for Puryang Palace. They were just waiting to find a reason to exterminate the sect. Gongsun thinking clearly represented Puryang Palace's ideal manner, maintaining an attitude of not caring for outside matters. Regarding cultivation, this kind of attitude would not easily give rise to a heart's devil, but regarding survival in battles, this kind of attitude was deadly. In this life, Yang Chen would not allow the past tragedies to repeat themselves. He had already begun to secretly influence the entire Puryang Palace, convinced that after several decades or maybe a century, Puryang Palace would become a completely different Puryang Palace. What would be difference in experience this time? The genius was a genius. Gongsun quickly understood the underlying reason. Even if Yang Chen could not change the regular thinking of Gongsun within a short time, Yang Chen had said something about life and death battles in the future, and Gongsun was no fool, she clearly knew right from wrong. This time, we are going to kill people. Yang Chen didn't conceal it any longer and clearly stated his intentions. The opponents are comprised of both strong and weak, perhaps they don't even have foundation stage or Kai layer youngsters, perhaps their experts are Jidan stage cultivators. We are going to kill these people, but there won't be certainty like the underground spirit beasts. Good. After a small moment of hesitation, Gongsun nodded her head. Killing people, these words created a slight resistance in her mind, but she was clear that Yang Chen would not harm her. Although the old tree demon was accompanying them, Yang Chen wanted Gao Yu and Gongsun to experience life and death fights this time, and thus hadn't told them about the old tree demon, he had asked him to only assist them at the most crucial time. This crucial time was the time when he was certain that Gao Yu and Gongsun were facing a matter of life and death, otherwise even if they sustained injuries, these two women should deal with it themselves. During the entire journey, the old tree demon's divided body was concealed within Yang Chen's medicine garden, enjoying the huge amount of spirit power and cultivating. As for outside matters, they were completely handled by Yang Chen. Apart from Palace Master Zhang Jiao, Yang Chen and the old tree demon, nobody knew that the old tree demon was accompanying them, on the contrary, many people had seen Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Gongsun leaving together, giving rise to many guesses within the Puryang Palace. Good news. At a secret hideout of the clan, an elder hastily rushed towards the clan chief's room and shouted with great excitement. Yang Chen, Gao Yu and another foundation stage female disciple of the Puryang Palace have left together to gain some experience, this is an exceptionally good opportunity for us. Is this information reliable? The clan chief's eyes began to shine. It certainly is. The elder was also excited. We have received fellow Taoist Lianyun's letter and have also received this news from a clansman hidden in the Miking Mountains who had seen those three come to the market there to make some purchases and then leave. Do we know where they went to gain experience? Clan chief excitedly asked. Fellow Taoist Lianyun said that they intend to go to Liangyang Mountain Spirit Beast Market with the intention to purchase something. Elder quickly replied. Then. Clan chief stroked his beard and issued the command. Call all other elders over here, we should discuss the strategy to attack. Yes. The elder agreed and quickly left to inform all the other elders. Feeling complacent, the people of the clan hadn't even anticipated that, while they were discussing about dealing with Yang Chen, the pure Yang Palace had already classified them as targets for attacking. Dealing with these three, Gao Yu who had sealed her cultivation and hadn't even reached the foundation stage, as well as two foundation stage youngsters, Yang Chen and Gongsun, the people of the clan didn't think that they would have any trouble and only dispatched 3 Jidan stage experts with 3 foundation stage clansmen. Furthermore, they also sent 7 Kai layer youngsters to act as their helpers. All of them were waiting on the only path between the Miking Mountains and Yangliang Mountain to ambush them. The Kai layer disciples were scattered in all directions to observe an area with a radius of 10 miles. As long as they saw even a hint of Yang Chen and his group, they were to immediately report back. Within this area, the clansmen had set up the most formidable flags they could purchase. As long as someone entered a 10 miles radius, they would be immediately trapped. In order to capture Yang Chen alive, the clansmen had made special efforts. They had even prepared to move everything in case Yang Chen and his group did not come from this road. Naturally, they needed to keep track of Yang Chen's whereabouts at all times, and for that it was necessary to have a secret expert carefully tracking them. Moreover, he also had to be able to notify the clansmen lying in ambush at all times. But those pitiful clansmen absolutely hadn't anticipated that their Jidan stage expert, when he spied on Yang Chen and the other two, concealing his spiritual awareness as much as he could, he was immediately spotted by Yang Chen and Gao Yu, like spotting a torch in a pitch-black night. After the duo cultivation of spirit awareness with Yang Chen, Gao Yu's spiritual awareness had already reached mid the Jidan stage. Moreover, her spiritual awareness had also gone through an extreme transformation. When the unfamiliar spiritual awareness spied on her for the first time, Gao Yu immediately discovered it. As for Yang Chen, nothing needed to be said. The formidable spiritual awareness threads from the cultivation of the 3 purity secrets had even discovered the Dacheng stage expert Gi Shanyu, so discovering this trifling clan's Jidan expert was simplicity itself. It seems that someone can't wait. When Yang Chen and Gao Yu glanced at each other, Yang Chen said with a smile. Among the 3 people, Gongsun Ling's spiritual awareness was the worst and she wasn't able to discover the enemy, but she could see from Yang Chen's and Gao Yu's reaction that a formidable enemy had appeared. What should we do? After talking with Yang Chen last time, Gongsun Ling's entire body seemed to be craving for a fight. Since Yang Chen and Gao Yu had discovered this anomaly, she also wanted to try. No need to worry right now. Yang Chen casually waved his hand, stopping Gongsun Ling from getting impulsive. We must first find where this person and if we are on the right track or not. However, regardless of whoever he is, he will be in big trouble. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 184 Mere worldly possessions are nothing to worry about. For Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling, this was the first time someone was targeting them. Gao Yu was still fine compared to Gongsun Ling. She had experienced someone attacking her at the Great Nanhuang Mountains, but Gongsun Ling never had such experience. The experienced Gao Yu hated such actions even more, especially right now, when these people were targeting Yang Chen. Unconsciously, both Gao Yu's and Yang Chen's minds were set on each other more seriously, thinking that they could allow themselves to be hurt, but not the other person. Moreover, it was Gongsun Ling's first time facing a life and death battle within the cultivation world. Although she had already experienced the sex martial art competition and had also tempered herself at the Immortal Falling Well, this was her first time fighting a true life and death battle. What astonished Yang Chen was that, even under these circumstances, Gongsun Ling didn't seem to be the slightest bit nervous, instead she seemed to be looking forward to it. The thirst for battle was perhaps fostered in the Immortal Falling Well, but at that time Gongsun Ling had only faced underground spirit beasts and hadn't thought of targeting cultivators. Right now, that thirst for killing evolved from the bottom of her heart had been rekindled after her discussion with Yang Chen. Perhaps Yang Chen had confidence that Gongsun Ling would walk even further in this life. After discovering the enemy's presence, under probe of Gi Shanyu's spiritual awareness, everyone knew what kind of tricks the enemy had planned. Spell flags were placed properly, but they couldn't hide them from this formidable Dacheng stage expert. Naturally, Yang Chen was the one who told the others everything, as Gi Shanyu's existence had to be kept hidden from them. Yang Chen absolutely didn't want Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling to think that they had a support, otherwise if they walked into battle knowing that they would never be defeated, the opportunity to temper themselves would be meaningless. That is the coiling spell. In the field of spell formations, if Yang Chen didn't have the knowledge of a Great Principle Golden Immortal from his previous life, then the most formidable among them was Gongsun Ling, who identified the spell formation of the spell flag with one glance. It is used to capture people, not kill them. I can't arrange such a formation at the moment. Having enough insights but not enough strength was a normal thing. Neither Yang Chen nor Gao Yu found it strange, but Yang Chen intended to temper Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling, so he didn't say anything. Moreover, this entire battle was just for the benefit of his master and his senior apprentice sister. From another point of view, it would seem that Yang Chen was instructing his master and senior apprentice sister. Just from the aspect of seniority, this was in reverse order. It was an extremely strange affair. Even more than instructing, he seemed to be testing them. In their personal opinion, however, it was not strange. Yang Chen had long ago proven that his battle experience and ability to battle was much higher than theirs, not to mention others. Just the number of Qianqin pouches which Yang Chen had obtained after killing enemies was sufficient proof of everything. Let alone the life and death challenges which he had won against people stronger than him. What should we do? Bao Yu and Gongsun Ling was frantically thinking about their approach. Yang Chen had already told them about the enemy's strength, 3 Jidan stage experts, 3 foundation stage experts, and a few Kai layer cultivators, which shouldn't be much of a problem, but the first 6 people were formidable, so regardless of anything, they had to be defeated first. Taking another way was also an option, but that would certainly make them look cowardly. Moreover, both women understood Yang Chen's intentions and didn't want to step aside. They also realized that if they conceded there, if a similar situation happened in the future, it would be very troublesome, and having such matter gnawing at their mind would certainly be detrimental to their cultivation. I can tell you my appearance hiding spell formation, but we still won't be able to break away from the entanglement of the coiling spell formation. Gongsun Ling spoke about the things she could handle. I have another spell formation which can restrain the coiling spell, but my cultivation is not sufficient. Even if I stake all of my spirit power in it, I would still be unable to resist it. But if Master Gao helps me, then maybe we can do something, but she will be unable to protect herself from enemies. After thinking of everything, they understood that breaking a high-grade spell flag could only be done by relying on another spell formation to break it. Just relying on Gao Yu, who only had the strength of the initial Jidan stage, they simply would not be able to handle 3 Jidan stage experts, but if they used spell formations, they may be able to trap the enemy and then kill them or cut off their limbs, and everything would be easy. There was only one problem. Their spirit power was insufficient. Even if the spirit power of Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling was combined, it still wouldn't be enough to match up with the 3 Jidan experts. Clearly, they were in a disadvantageous position. If you just require spirit power for the spell formation, I may have a way. Yang Chen was not worried much about Gongsun Ling failing. As long as they had a method, he would do everything he could to help with it. Since Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling had both agreed that this was the best method, Yang Chen would naturally support it. If the spirit power for the spell formation is not enough, use spirit stones. They are spell flags refined by 3 Jidan stage experts, they also have spirit stones. We will not be able to compete with them. Gongsun Ling shook her head. She wasn't very optimistic regarding Yang Chen's suggestion to use spirit stones to solve the problem of their spirit power being insufficient. The spirit stones used by the 2 spell formations will be finite, we would have to use at least 2 whole pieces, possibly it would also be completely exhausted. This is no good. There are no certain things in this world. Maybe it will work. Yang Chen smiled and took out 2 whole spirit stones and placed them in front of Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling. Just spirit stones won't work, we require. Gongsun Ling could only speak half the sentence and then couldn't say another word. On the other side, Gao Yu was also looking at Yang Chen in astonishment, not daring to believe what she was seeing. 2 pieces of top-quality spirit stones, each seemed to be around 1 jin, twinkling brightly within Yang Chen's hands like 2 bright pearls, attracting the attention of both women. These spirit stones should be enough, shouldn't they? Yang Chen asked with a smile. Enough. Gongsun Ling replied a little sluggishly, taking the 2 jin of top-grade spirit stones that were actually equivalent to 200 jin of high-grade spirit stones, 20,000 jin of middle-grade spirit stones, and 2 million jin of low-grade spirit stones. But this much, forget about dealing with some Jidan stage experts' trifling coiling spell, even if a Piquanyang stage cultivator had been there, in terms of spirit power, they still wouldn't be at a disadvantage. So, what's next? Yang Chen pulled Gongsun Ling's little hand and pushed the spirit stones in her hand. Do you really intend to use these 2 top-grade spirit stones? Even with spirit stones in her hand, Gongsun Ling still couldn't dare to believe it. While holding them, she clenched her hands as tightly as she could to feel that sensation of the spirit stones, ready to overflow, and sense the extremely smooth and soft surface, only then could she believe it. But when she was allowed to use both of the spirit stones immediately, she still hesitated a little. These are mere worldly possessions, as long as we can obtain victory, this is not too high of a price to pay. Yang Chen nodded his head, as if instructing both of them and continued to speak. At the crucial time, even if it is your destined flying sword, you should be ready to abandon it. Always remember, your life is far more precious than these mere worldly possessions. The argument was quite easy to understand, but when the time came, it may not be so easy to follow it. Even Gao Yu, who was a Jidan stage expert, had never seen a top-grade spirit stone before. Thus these two spirit stones easily surpassed both Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling's entire wealth combined, at least by 100 times. So when they were suddenly asked to use such a large amount of wealth, they could not help but feel astonished. Gao Yu quickly understood something and subtly raised her head, glancing at Yang Chen, just when Yang Chen was looking straight at her with a smile dancing in his eyes. A trace of a smile also blossomed on Gao Yu's face. Looking into Yang Chen's eyes, she felt very grateful. After another moment, Gongsun Ling also finally looked up from her internal struggle and took a deep breath, but her expression clearly conveyed that she had been relieved of some burden. I understand, younger apprentice brother Yang. Gongsun Ling faintly nodded her head towards Yang Chen. I used to believe that I was already unaffected by worldly possessions, but after seeing right now, it seems that was not the case before. Tossing the spirit stones around in her hand, Gongsun Ling smiled without any worries. Then let's see how formidable the spell formation will be after being propelled by top-quality spirit stones. Bao Yu was also thinking of the same thing. Cultivators should never have to worry about worldly possessions, only then could they completely free their minds. But, in the end, cultivators were also people and knew the importance of wealth and companionship. While everyone was vying for these, they could also subconsciously get caught up in the worries for mortal treasures. Yang Chen's lesson allowed both of them to undergo a small baptism for the first time. Their mental state blossomed even more, which naturally would be very beneficial towards their cultivation. Although Gongsun Ling's research of that senior's illusion spell was not complete, she could already make a lesser imitation. As for another spell formation which would resist the coiling spell, it was simply the 5 phases sword attack spell formation. As long as the attacks were sufficiently incisive, regardless of what kind of entanglement it was, everything could be cut. The Jidan expert monitoring the 3 people didn't dare to get too close and kept looking at the 3 of them talking from afar for a good moment, then he sat down on the ground to rest. Afterwards he disappeared from where he had appeared in a flash. The Jidan expert suddenly felt something amiss and could not help but rub his eyes. When he looked again, he became certain that the 3 people had certainly disappeared from their original place. Greatly alarmed, the Jidan expert didn't even care about covering his tracks and directly rushed to the place where those 3 had disappeared just a moment ago. Yang Chen and both women had entered the illusion spell arranged by Gongsun Ling. Although this illusion spell didn't have any killing power, it had a strong invisibility effect. The people using it couldn't even be discovered by using spiritual awareness. They could only be discovered if someone walked into the region. The 3 inside the spell could clearly see the figure of that Jidan stage expert rushing over. Seeing the silhouette, Gongsun Ling faintly laughed and with a tremble, the spirit stone embedded in the spell flag fell to the ground. She was very fortunate. Under a large amount of stress, that Jidan expert directly entered the killing spell and basically didn't have any time to respond. But still, the reaction of that Jidan expert was quite fast. He immediately summoned a magic weapon. The magic weapon was called out hurriedly however. In front of the attack power of the spell formation, driven by top-quality spirit stones, the defensive magic weapon was simply like paper. Bang. Just as the armor took shape on his body, it was directly crushed into pieces by the powerful attack of the spell formation. As for the expert himself, his body trembled violently and he began to puff out blood madly. With great injuries, he wasn't able to maintain the armor anymore and many formless flying swords pierced his body as if it was a sieve. So simple. How is it possible? Gongsun Ling simply didn't dare to believe what she was seeing. A Jidan stage expert hadn't even been able to stand up in front of her. The difference between their strengths and the actual result was very shocking, which put Gongsun Ling at a loss for a good moment. The 5 phases sword spell formation, which only has offensive strength, is the most simple spell formation and perhaps because it is the simplest spell formation, it can use all of its strength on attacking and can also make the most efficient use of spirit power in the spirit stone. Yang Chen lauded. The choice of spell formation is quite good. Gongsun Ling was both frightened and delighted. Admittedly, killing this Jidan expert had a hint of a sneak attack, the enemy basically didn't have the time to respond, but it also clearly showed that it was not necessary, that only a highly complex spell formation would shine in battles. Sometimes the simplest spell formation used correctly could reveal astonishing strength. This kind of real combat was a completely different experience for Gongsun Ling. Compared to killing those underground spirit beasts who didn't have any intelligence, by attracting them to the simplest traps, it was more complex and completely novel. Their enemies were a few Jidan stage experts, moreover they still didn't know anything, so this was the perfect time. The illusion spell made by Gongsun allowed the three people to noiselessly approach those people who were waiting to ambush them. At this point of time, the ending those people desired had become a dream. Isn't such a method despicable? Gongsun still hadn't completely accepted this method and could not help but ask Yang Chen, who was hidden within the illusionary spell some distance away from her. So is it righteous that those people have sent so many Jidan stage and foundation stage cultivators to attack us three people? Yang Chen didn't reply directly, but rather asked a rhetorical question. So, even if we won by using such a method and this method worked again in the future, would it also be usable at the time of a tribulation? Before reaching the foundation stage, Gongsun had been deeply influenced by the academics of the sect and hence still resisted launching a sneak attack. I am not asking senior apprentice sister to use this kind of method every time. Yang Chen gazed into Gongsun eyes and sternly said. I only wanted to let senior apprentice sister become aware that such methods can also be used. Moreover, this method was thought of by you yourself, senior apprentice sister, isn't that so? What kind is to be used at what time is entirely up to you. After saying this, Yang Chen seemed to be wanting to continue and added. Senior apprentice sister, actually the heavenly tribulations are not passed by using the same method. All of those seniors who passed the heavenly tribulation didn't use only one method. I understand. Gongsun was worthy of being considered a genius and quickly understood Yang Chen's intention and was no longer confused. Bao Yu standing near them didn't say anything, quietly listening to their dialogue. Although the conversation between Yang Chen and Gongsun was quite simple, the content was not profound, it still created much for her to reflect upon. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 185 Your flying swords are my responsibility. The reality didn't allow Gongsun to insist on using just and honorable methods. She was a foundation stage disciple, and the enemy was a Jidan stage expert. If she confronted him openly, then that was not persisting on principle, instead it was plain foolishness. When Gongsun 5 phases sword spell formation suddenly started attacking the Jidan stage expert responsible for the coiling spell, Gao Yu quickly revealed herself to obstruct another Jidan expert wanting to help to his friend. As for those foundation stage clansmen, they were all delivered to Yang Chen. Although nobody knew how Yang Chen would deal with them, Gao Yu and Gongsun had never doubted once that Yang Chen would not be able to easily take care of them. Yang Chen indeed took care of the three foundation stage clansmen with the second wood flying sword. At the moment when Gongsun started attacking, he immediately got rid of the closest person and soon after that, the other two were also covered in a huge blood-red net. Although the Master Root and the Master Vine had been removed from the Blood Phantom Vine, under Yang Chen's meticulous care and the nourishment from two Dacheng stage experts, it had already recovered a portion of its strength. Even though it still couldn't be compared to the Blood Phantom Vine flying sword, but for two foundation stage youngsters it was still enough. The Kai layer disciples scattered within the 10-mile radius were already marked by Gi Shanyu with his spiritual awareness. Regardless of where they would escape to, they could be easily traced. Yang Chen wasn't worried about them escaping in all directions. Even if they were given a day's head start, the old tree demon could easily catch them. Moreover, what Yang Chen wanted to know at the moment was this group's whereabouts, where their base was located. The Jidan stage expert fighting with Gao Yu absolutely hadn't anticipated that she could still use her Jidan stage cultivation in the fight with him. Suddenly, after one move he asked her in complete astonishment. Didn't you seal your cultivation? How are you still at the Jidan stage? I only seal my cultivation when cultivating, no one ever said that I had to seal it while fighting. Gao Yu sneered and continued showering the enemy with attacks. While on one side, Gao Yu was engaging the Jidan expert, on the other side, Gongsun had completely released all of her techniques, one after another, spirit formation after spirit formation. Although the difference in realms of both sides was large, the top quality spirit stone completely made up for the deficiency. The coiling spell was perfectly prepared to ambush Yang Chen and his group. Although Gongsun had mounted a sneak attack, the coiling spell was also roused, and under the control of their spell flag, both spirit formations fiercely collided. Countless formless threads of the coiling spell were densely coiled around the 5 phases sword and were sliced cleanly, which were then replaced by newly formed threads again. The main principle behind the coiling spell was the same, it would exhaust the spirit power of the people trapped inside and then capture them without injuring the trapped people. If the person trapped inside the spell formation had a lower cultivation than the person who arranged it, then it was extremely hard to cut those formless threads. Only if the person had a powerful magic weapon or some spell formation which could destroy other spell formations, like Gongsun was using, would work, otherwise there was no way to come out of the spell formation. Their original surefire plan to capture the three people by using the spell formation controlled by three Jidan experts had completely failed. Moreover, they also had to face the surprise attack of Yang Chen and his group, while the whereabouts of the expert who had been following their trail previously were unknown, and out of the 3 foundation stage disciples who were sent to assist, Yang Chen had already gotten rid of 2 of them, and the leftover Jidan stage experts had also become fearful. As for the expert fighting with Gao Yu, he was barely able to evenly match with Gao Yu, but still hadn't gotten an opportunity to push Gao Yu into the spell. What made him even more nervous was that Yang Chen had surprisingly already become free and could help Gao Yu at any time she needed. Although he didn't know what that weird blood-colored net was, which Yang Chen had used to deal with the 3 foundation stage disciples, but something that could deal a fatal blow to 2 mid-foundation stage disciples was definitely not something as simple. Yang Chen's gaze was always aptly sweeping over Gao Yu's enemy like a sharp blade. This led the expert to believe that Yang Chen would certainly attack him. In his wariness and distraction, that expert who had a cultivation of the mid-Jidan stage, a little higher than Gao Yu, lost the slight advantage he held, and the fight became equally matched without any chances of success in sight. The Jidan expert controlling the spell flag also discovered, with some astonishment, that his opponent, an initial foundation stage woman, known as Yang Chen's senior apprentice sister, was surprisingly able to control his coiling spell, using a simple attacking spell formation, and even after such a long stalemate, wasn't showing any signs of spirit power exhaustion. What he found harder to believe was that Gongsun Ling had the perfect opportunity to break the coiling formation controlled personally by him, but she wasn't trying to destroy it. The reason why it was locked in a stalemate for so long was because she had discovered that this battle was helpful in increasing her control over the spell formation and spell flags, and she was not willing to lose this chance to temper herself. Gongsun Ling had already gained the understanding that, regardless of what method was used, the goal of the battle was to win, no one wanted to lose. But under the current circumstances, she herself hadn't expected that, apart from catching them off guard in the beginning, she would be able to fight the way she wanted, a just and honorable, decisive battle. As for the sneak attack in the beginning, Gongsun Ling didn't consider that as a sneak attack. It was just dealing with them as they were trying to deal with her group. Could it be that, since the enemy had laid ambushes for them properly, she had to walk into the trap to be called honorable by the enemy? The spell formation controlled by the Jidan expert was greatly pressuring Gongsun Ling, but with the backing of the top-quality spirit stone, Gongsun Ling could easily control the spell formation to a great extent, making the battle reach a stalemate with Gongsun Ling at a slight disadvantage, but fortunately this created a misconception in the enemy's mind that, as long as he added a little more strength, he could easily subdue Gongsun Ling. The enemy, sorrowful for the loss of one of his companions, was waiting for the instant when Gongsun Ling would crumble. His companion was fighting against 2 enemies alone, but he could still resist them for the time being. As long as he could subdue this foundation stage woman, he would get his hands free and teach a lesson to Yang Chen and Gao Yu. As for those few foundation stage disciples who had already died, he didn't care about them. As long as they could obtain the pill recipe from Yang Chen, sacrificing the life of a few foundation stage disciples was not much. Gongsun Ling was getting more and more proficient with the spell formation. She controlled the spell formation to release just the ideal amount of strength. Under the pressure of the Jidan stage expert, within the intense battle, Gongsun Ling had displayed incomparable concentration. This 5-phase sword spell had already released more power than it had ever released under her control. It is about time, we still have many questions to ask. Yang Chen sitting on one side, apparently discovered Gongsun Ling's situation and reminded her. Shua. Hearing Yang Chen's words stunned the Jidan stage expert controlling the spell formation. At the same time, he discovered with astonishment that at this instant, all of the threads of the coiling spell had been cleanly cut off. How is this possible? The Jidan expert controlling spell formation cried out in fear, but was only able to get these words out. The sword Kai as sharp as the point of a spear, directly broke through all of the restraints of the coiling spell and beheaded him, effortlessly passing through his body, bringing out a bright light, which dazzled everyone's eyes. The Jidan expert's body fell to the ground with a loud sound. The used spell flag broke down without anyone to control it, leaving all of the matters to Gongsun Ling. His gaze turned to Gao Yu, who was deadlocked in battle with that Jidan expert. 3 against 1. With both his companions dead, the remaining Jidan expert, without hesitation, ducked out of the way, wanting to run away. Yang Chen was looking at the fight from the sidelines, how could he allow him to escape at such a time? The enemy had been able to go just 2 meters when he suddenly collided with an ocean of flying swords, and closely packed flying swords started falling down on him. Yang Chen had once again used a 10,000 sword secrets. When those few thousand flying swords started attacking under Yang Chen's control, even if that fleeing clansman was a Jidan stage expert, he still had to fear the consequences. Other than controlling his flying sword to fly faster and stop those hundreds of swords one by one, he had no other choice. but the effort he spent to obstruct those swords had already decided his life and death. The dark red sword mixed among those thousands of sword had passed through his flying sword at some time and was directly pointed at his body. The Zhanxian expert was endlessly surprised, but he didn't pay much attention to it. As long as his cultivation was intact, he could easily block this unremarkable sword. The sharp end grazed his skin a little, but the Zhanxian stage expert didn't have the chance to do anything. The small pointed end seemed to have some kind of power of attraction, and the blood of his entire body was concentrated at that one point where it was grazed. He didn't have the ability to maintain his cultivation and vitality after his blood had dried up. Like Elder Hua Wanting, the Zhanxian expert could only keep gazing at Yang Chen with endless astonishment and despair, and then, as if still trying to escape, he fell to the ground. Finished. Apparently Gao Yu didn't dare to believe it. Just the three of them had so easily taken down 3 Zhanxian stage experts and 3 foundation stage disciples. How do you have so many flying swords? What amazed Gongsun Ling was the flying swords produced by the 10,000 sword secrets just a moment ago. Surprisingly, not even one flying sword was formed from sword light, all of them were real. For a foundation stage disciple, a suitable flying sword was not something which could be obtained easily, otherwise the Pure Yang Palace would not have used a flying sword as a reward for Yang Chen. Even until now, Gongsun Ling had only one flying sword, but when she suddenly saw Yang Chen using literally tens of thousands of swords, she was so intimidated that she couldn't even move from the spot. Flying swords. Yang Chen was startled, but he immediately caught himself and said with a carefree laugh. By killing people. These words were no lie. The majority of the flying swords he had were obtained from the Haoyi manor, but only Gao Yu knew about that matter, so she hadn't paid any attention, but Gongsun Ling wasn't aware of that matter. Several thousand flying swords. Younger apprentice brother, how many people have you killed? Gongsun Ling turned pale with fright on the spot. Wouldn't it influence your mental state? Although in the beginning, she was asking out of curiosity, it immediately turned to concern. It is not like, I killed all of them by myself, don't worry. Yang Chen didn't want the people at his side to get anxious because of him and replied, playing it down. Also, it will have no influence on my cultivation. Gongsun Ling wanted to say something more, but seeing that Gao Yu hadn't said anything, she cleverly shut her mouth. This was probably a long story, but right now they didn't have the time for that. Even his master, Gao Yu, hadn't said anything, so she, his senior apprentice sister, had no need to be talkative. But she was still very amazed that Yang Chen had such a great helper. But this would also explain how Yang Chen could easily take out 2 top-grade spirit stones. The wealth he had collected from killing several thousands of people altogether could even it out. However, Gongsun Ling still didn't dare to believe that her younger apprentice brother had taken the lives of so many people within such a short amount of time, merely a few decades. Even if Yang Chen was an executioner, didn't it seem like he was just fond of killing? While the 2 women still hadn't recovered from their shock, Yang Chen had already begun to sweep the battlefield leisurely. Starting from the Zhanxian expert who had pursued them at the beginning, 3 Zhanxian stage experts and 3 foundation stage cultivators, 6 Qianqin pouch were placed in front of the 3 people. Jews. Yang Chen waved his hand, assuming the role of the one dividing the gains. Both women didn't have experience in killing people and taking their things, both were looking at each other in dismay, and nobody moved. It is a simple matter, there is no use of thinking so much. Looking at their expressions, Yang Chen knew what they were thinking and once again substituted for them. 3 Qianqin pouches of 3 Zhanxian experts, 1 person 1 pouch, the same goes for the foundation stage cultivators, and dividing the loot is already completed. With this, both women had received 2 Qianqin pouches respectively and were looking at Yang Chen as an assistant should, thinking about what kind of treasures were inside the Qianqin pouches. Gao Yu was the first one to force a smile. Soon after that, Gongsun Ling began to giggle and then burst out laughing. This world is like this. The strong prey on the weak. It isn't merciful. Without lifting his head, Yang Chen started talking while looking at the spoils of war. In the future, many such things will happen, you should form a habit. Don't think too much about it. If they want to kill us and we don't kill them, the ones who are dead will be us. I don't know about you, but I don't have the intention of helping them and dying. Both women had already taken their loot, regardless of whatever being said. Cultivators should always be optimistic. Since the matter had already reached this stage, then it was not ill-gotten gains. Naturally they would have a clear conscience taking it. But experiencing so much after the first time, apparently there would be changes in their ideals, otherwise they would just be their previous selves. These flying swords aren't useful for you, so I will repair and use them. Yang Chen didn't divide the flying swords with varying grades and instead tossed them all into his own Qianqin pouch. Yang Chen, both me and your senior apprentice sister don't have any good flying swords, what do you say? Gao Yu said to Yang Chen with a teasing smile, as if making fun of him. The red sun metal soul which I had purchased at a high price was entirely used on your bright ray sword, can't you show even a little bit of gratitude? Be relieved, master. Yang Chen patted his chest, taking charge. Leave your destined flying swords to me. They will certainly not be inferior to what Great Master is using. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 186 Clan Extermination. The status of these people was absolutely clear, especially from that clan's cultivation method and other things within their Qianqin pouches, there was no more doubt. The clansmen surprisingly had the intention of killing Yang Chen and Gao Yu. It was not appropriate to go back to Palace Master Zhang Jiao and explain everything him. Just because of the fact that they intended to target Gao Yu, they were already destined for doom. Although the experts had died, those Kai layer disciples were still alive. Seeing that the events were far from encouraging, each and every one of them began to flee. Unfortunately, under the spiritual awareness imprint of the old tree demon, they hadn't even run a few miles before they were captured by Yang Chen and his group, who were flying on flying swords. Within less than half a day, all 7 of them were lying down in front of Yang Chen and other 2. Yang Chen didn't have to use any tricks to deal with these people, just looking at the corpses of the 3 Jidan stage experts had already scared them stiff. Each and every one of them started talking about all of the different matters in their clan for the last few years to save their lives. As for the location of the clan, obtaining it was as easy as pie. Surprisingly, some mysterious person also knew that master sealed her cultivation and is training in a water-attributed cultivation method. After obtaining their confessions and confirming it, Yang Chen snorted. It seems that there is still someone inside the Pure Yang Palace who wants something to happen to us. Bao Yu wrinkled her brows, forming a knot. Surprisingly, this matter also involved someone from the Pure Yang Palace. It was not just a simple matter about the sect's reputation, instead it was a great problem inside of the sect. Should we notify the palace master? Zhanxian looked from Yang Chen to Gao Yu and could not help but ask. Don't be so hasty. Yang Chen easily sealed the 5 senses of the Kai layer clansmen whom they had apprehended and put them into the medicine garden. Then he clapped his hands. We will arrest those clansmen and their chief and then deliver them to the palace master to make the decision. This was a rather good way. Nobody could say then that Yang Chen had massacred them for nothing. In any case, since they knew the location of the clan, the rest was simple. The clan chief and some elders who had remained behind to take care of things were waiting expectantly for the dispatched clansmen to return triumphantly. Despite knowing that the pill recipe in Yang Chen's hand certainly didn't belong to their ancestor, if they could gain that pill recipe, it would greatly increase the status of their clan among other cultivators. In those days, it was indeed a great expert who used to refine the heaven-seizing pill, but the pill recipe could only be understood by a Dacheng stage pill concocting expert, with whom these later generations of the clan basically did not have any connection. Moreover, it was almost impossible to rise to the Dacheng stage by just relying on pills. This was also one of the reasons of the decline of the clan. The clan currently required a kind of pill which could give a great boost to spirit power at the Jidan stage, or even the foundation stage, which the children of the clan could use, and Yang Chen had appeared at the perfect time, giving the clan chief the opportunity he was looking for. Initially, they hadn't thought that they had any connection with this matter, but when He Lianyun dropped in and made his almost reasonable analysis, it gave rise to hope among the clansmen. If such a matter succeeded, they could gain such a pill recipe, together with the heaven-seizing pill, and the clan would also gain in reputation. The most important fact was that, even if they lost, based on the fact that Pure Yang Palace had always been treating people mercifully, the worst that could happen was that they would have to apologize, but would not have to suffer any substantial damage. Who wouldn't take such a very beneficial gamble with such enticing benefits and negligible consequences? Opportunity always comes without notice. Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Zhanxian, a Jidan stage cultivator who had sealed her cultivation together with 2 initial foundation stage cultivators, facing 3 Jidan stage cultivators and 3 foundation stage cultivators, the outcome was clear as crystal. Once he thought of the glory and honor the clan would accomplish under him after getting the pill recipe, the clan chief couldn't help but feel very complacent. Second elder, what do you say, if we get hold of the pill recipe, what should be the first thing we do? The clan chief, whose heart was filled with longing, asked a second elder, who was restlessly sitting to the side. Nobody sitting there had anything to do, so this topic of discussion gave everyone something to do. The first thing to do is to wash your necks. Before the second elder could reply, a towering voice suddenly came from outside. Boo. The elders and the clan chief within the room jumped like rabbits being chased by an arrow. Someone was so close, but nobody was able to discover him. What kind of expert had come? Naturally, it was none other than Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Zhanxian. Gongsun Ling was using the spell flag arranged in accordance with the illusion spell of the senior in the valley extremely cleverly. Although it didn't have any offensive power, it was incomparable in the field of hiding people. Even a Yuaning stage expert couldn't discover the existence of the spell flag if he didn't come within 3 meters of the spell. This was an extremely useful tool for scouting and obtaining information. Moreover, it could also greatly assist in saving one's life at a most crucial point. Since top-grade spirit stones were used at the spell core to provide spirit power, there was also no need to worry about the spirit power depleting. After killing those clansmen, Yang Chen didn't take those 2 spirit stones back and instead just gifted them to Gongsun Ling for future use. Currently she didn't have any reliable magic weapons, only those 2 spell formations. One purely for attacking and the other one to conceal a person. Perfect as her last resort. As for Yang Chen's generosity, after trying to decline a few times, she accepted it without saying anything. In fact, from the time at the heavenly stairs, Yang Chen had been showing great consideration for her. Gongsun Ling knew this within her heart. Cultivators had long lives and they had enough time in future. Gongsun Ling firmly believed that one day she would be able to return Yang Chen's kind intentions. Before the clan chief and the elders in the room had the opportunity to discover the face behind the voice, they were trapped inside of a huge netting of vine. They couldn't even say anything and immediately lost consciousness. Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling didn't have any impressive method to capture and deliver these people to the palace master. Capturing them alive could not be compared with killing them. Yang Chen could kill them easily, but instead of capturing them himself, asking the old tree demon would simplify things a lot. Because of the possibility of someone from the Pure Yang Palace colluding with these people, Yang Chen didn't want one unwise move to gain him the reputation of killing people to silence them. In any case, Palace Master Zhang Jiao also found these people intolerable, so there was no need to discuss the death of these people, it was just a question of time. But before facing death, if these people could help in uncovering a spy within the Pure Yang Palace, it would still be good. The base of the clan was hidden extremely well, perhaps they thought it was absolutely safe, so all clansmen were present there. The old tree demon only had to attack once, and all the clansmen were like sitting ducks. Nobody was able to escape. In other words, the entire clan was already on the path of extermination. Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling once again appeared on the path of the spirit beast market at Yangliang market. This time, the journey took an entire 2 months before it was completed. Whenever they would near a human habitation on their journey, Yang Chen would take both women for a stroll. Both women were also enjoying this experience very much. On one hand, experiencing all kinds of people, while on the other hand, confirming what they had learned. The experience in the mortal world was nothing more than this. We have arrived at the spirit beast market, what kind of spirit beast do you want to purchase? When they reached the spirit beast market, Gongsun Ling curiously asked. As for Gao Yu, she never asked reason for Yang Chen's actions, apparently she firmly believed that Yang Chen had his reasons. Purchase a spirit beast. Yang Chen slowly shook his head, although he had experience worth thousands of years as a Great Principle Golden Immortal, he didn't remember the mortal world having very strong spirit beasts worthy of his attention. There was another reason for coming here, which could not be said publicly, so after shaking his head, he said. If you find a suitable spirit beast, there is no harm in buying it. Yang Chen's words didn't match his expression, which Gongsun Ling clearly understood. In any case, there were more than enough secrets on Yang Chen. Gongsun Ling didn't find it anything strange, but one thing she believed firmly was that Yang Chen would not harm her in any case. You are a sword cultivator, moreover you also are a highly proficient pill concocting expert, you should not waste too much energy on other things so as to avoid distractions. Seeing that Gao Yu didn't have any intention to stop Yang Chen, she couldn't help but warn him. Many thanks senior apprentice sister, I will remember it. Yang Chen smiled and nodded his head. Afterwards he immediately turned towards the Spirit Beast Market Gates Avenue and walked 2 steps and, as if remembering something, he turned around and warned seriously. Regardless of what I say or do, you should not be baffled. I have my own reasons. Gongsun Ling and Gao Yu glanced at each other and, having no alternative, forced a bitter laugh, shaking their heads in tacit understanding, following after Yang Chen into the Spirit Beast Market. The Spirit Beast Market was located within a huge valley, covering an area of several hundred hectares. As the name implied, the Spirit Beast Market was an area for dealing with spirit beasts, which was the main commodity of this region. There were several hundred stores in this region, all of them engaging in spirit beast trade. Yangliang Mountain was the territory of the beast taming sect. The beast taming sect was the most powerful sect in the field of controlling troublesome spirit beasts and taming them into pets. So the Spirit Beast Market being here was not that strange. Despite Yang Chen's reputation in the outer world, nobody recognized him here. Who would pay attention to a foundation stage youngster? let alone the foundation stage. People here wouldn't even pay much attention to Jidan stage cultivators. After all, Jidan stage cultivators, there were always one or two of them here. Bao Yu and Gongsun Ling, however, were still attracting the gazes of many people. The beauty of both women could be considered as among the finest among cultivators. Beautiful people always attracted attention wherever they went, cultivators were no exception. Who would not watch a beautiful woman? Because of his relationship with the two women, Yang Chen was also a target of some attention. Actually, their ranks were also a little strange. Yang Chen was walking in the front, with a Jidan and a foundation stage cultivator walking behind him. This was the opposite of the expected order, with Gao Yu in front and Yang Chen and Gongsun Ling following behind. But Yang Chen didn't pay any attention to the weird looks cultivators were casting their way. He went inside the first shop he saw in the spirit beast market and then went into another one and then continued the same, observing the spirit beasts inside. In every shop he entered, Yang Chen only asked one question. Do you have any spirit beast pets of the ox family? The ox family demon beasts were either quite rare or were very strong like the full moon rhinoceros. If someone had such a demon beast, then who would be willing to part with it? After hearing Yang Chen's question, all shop owners just shook their heads, forcing a bitter laugh. Yang Chen wasn't discouraged in the least and continued going through shops. Although each time was in vain, he didn't give up. His strange actions quickly caught people's curiosity. He didn't conceal the mark of the Pure Yang Palace, so any experienced person would know that those three belonged to the Pure Yang Palace. But the Pure Yang Palace was a sect comprised of cultivators. Why would they send people to buy spirit beast pets? Moreover, why such a rare spirit beast? The most baffling thing was that they had sent out a foundation stage disciple for it. Why is the Pure Yang Palace purchasing spirit beasts? After those three had visited more than a dozen stores, some untimely voice suddenly echoed in everyone's ears. Cultivators purchasing spirit beasts was not something to make a fuss about, but the majority of people who bought them were either from sects like the beast taming sect, which relied mainly on taming beasts, some rogue cultivators or disciples of some small sect, but the disciples of a big sect like the Pure Yang Palace rarely came to purchase them. Spirit beasts require a lot of energy to breed. To cultivate a formidable spirit beast, not only were all kinds of high-grade elixirs required, but also a large amount of time and the use of its owner's spirit power for nourishment. Disciples of big sects were all proficient in the cultivation of one or two things, like sword cultivators, pill concocting masters, tool refining masters or spell formations among others. Once in a while, there were some cultivators proficient in taming beasts, but they were as rare as the feathers of a phoenix. Especially after the great calamity of the devil cultivation, the upper echelons of all big sects were restraining their disciples even more, not allowing them to research such messy things, thus, these people being so baffled was quite normal. Following the sound, the three people turned to look. They saw an extremely handsome youth standing in the direction of the voice, his entire body was covered with white clothes, untainted by even a speck of dust. On his waist was a purple spirit beast pouch, looking towards them with his eyes shining brightly. That voice a moment ago was definitely his. And disciples of the Pure Yang Palace not buy spirit beasts. Yang Chen coldly glanced at him and retorted. Although the other person was looking at them, his gaze was concentrated on Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling, trying to show off that he was cultured and elegant in front of them, but he was not very good at making sarcastic remarks. Of course you can. The white-clothed youth smiled and advanced towards them. When he smiled, it made people feel as if they were bathing in the spring wind, as his eyes were shining brilliantly. My name is Su Moshing, the disciple of Windflower Pavilion, nice to meet you fellow Taoists. Stopping some distance away from the three people, Su Moshing cupped his hands towards Yang Chen and his group. If fellow Taoists really intend to purchase some spirit beasts, then this lowly me can provide a little help. We don't dare to trouble you, we can find it by ourselves. Yang Chen didn't have a favorable opinion of people who took such opportunities to hit on someone, so he cupped his hands and returned the salutations, immediately declining. Myself is very familiar with the surroundings, if you require anything, this lowly me can lead the way. Su Moshing didn't show the slightest unhappiness and was still beaming with a smile like before, but his gaze was passionately concentrated on Gongsun Ling. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 187 Wanting to restore a constituent spirit. Su Moshing hadn't concealed his gaze from the start. Yang Chen and Gao Yu could see it clearly. Even Gongsun Ling could see the lust in his eyes. However, Yang Chen and Gao Yu didn't say much. Gongsun Ling's natural talent was brilliant. Even the entire Pure Yang Palace approved of it. Even many lower disciples wanted to get close to Gongsun Ling and had the intention of forming a Tao companionship with her, but Gongsun Ling never paid heed to such intentions. Clearly Su Moshing had either made out Gongsun Ling's talent in one glance or he already knew about her and was thinking of some plan. The reason why Yang Chen and Gao Yu hadn't said anything was because Pure Yang Palace didn't forbid disciples from taking Dao companions from other sects. All the big sects had a similar stance on this point, even the Green Jade Immortal Island Zhanxian still had an unclear relation with Yang Chen. Since it was Gongsun Ling's matter, she had to take care of it herself. Many thanks, fellow Taoist Su. A smile spread on Gongsun Ling's face and she suddenly turned towards Yang Chen and said. You and your apprentice brother, allow fellow Taoist Su to help us, perhaps the matter will be resolved quickly. Then we will trouble you. Yang Chen was also not disgruntled and rushed to thank Su Moshing with a faint smile. There is no harm. Su Moshing was exalted and approached a few steps closer, making an inviting gesture and asked. I still don't know the names of the esteemed fellow Taoists. Yang Chen took the initiative and made the introduction for the three people. Suddenly, a flash of realization could be seen on Su Moshing's face, as if he was waiting to meet them for a long time. Looking at his slightly amazed expression, he apparently hadn't expected to meet a famous person such as Yang Chen. I wonder what kind of spirit beast is fellow Taoist Yang looking for. After greeting them one Su Moshing, he asked for Yang Chen's purpose of coming. This lowly me knows a thing or two about spirit beasts, whatever request fellow Taoist has, you should ask for it. Myself has been looking for a spirit beast of the ox family. The best would be to purchase a demon beast. Yang Chen did not hide it and confidently answered. In any case, he had intended to let people know from the beginning. The spirit beast of the ox family? Su Moshing wrinkled his brows. Difficult. The ox family is quite rare, ordinary ones are not enough for your request, this is extremely difficult. After shaking his head for a moment, Su Moshing inquisitively asked. Does it have to be the ox family? Will others not do? The ox family would have been the most suitable, but since there aren't any, I can only use others in place of it. Yang Chen also knew that spirit beasts of ox family are hard to come by, so he took a step back. Forgive me for speaking bluntly. Su Moshing was curious about Yang Chen's purpose and trying to probe out, he asked. Pure Yang Palace hasn't been an expert at taming spirit beasts, moreover cultivating a formidable spirit beast requires a lot of energy. Fellow Taoist, if you already have something in which you are proficient, together with pill concocting, you shouldn't distract yourself. These words seemed to be friendly advice, but seeing as Yang Chen and Su Moshing had only met for the first time today, he seemed to be talking too familiarly with strangers. But Su Moshing's words were certainly nicely put, the expression on his face was also sincere, making it seem that he had certainly thought about Yang Chen and didn't have any other thoughts. I am not looking to cultivate a spirit beast. Yang Chen waved his hand. It is also related to pill concocting. Once these words came out of his mouth, Gao Yu's eyes opened widely. Related with pill concocting. In relation with spirit beasts, he had just recently resolved a dispute over the heaven-seizing pill. What was Yang Chen doing now? Was the amount of trouble still not large enough for him? Not just Gao Yu, even Gongsun Ling was looking with a similar expression towards Yang Chen. Su Moshing standing on one side did not dare to believe his own ears. He kept looking at Yang Chen with extremely bafflement. My Pure Yang Palace's secret pavilion had guardian beast of the ox family. After sustaining some injury, his spirit itself had been damaged, so I was thinking if I could make some elixir for restoring his spirit. Yang Chen calmly explained. But it has never been tested on a living guardian beast, so I was thinking about testing it on a spirit beast. Oh. Su Moshing suddenly understood something. Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling also relaxed within their hearts and were not that nervous anymore. Yang Chen had become famous in the entire world because of the heaven-seizing pill. Everyone knew that he could make an elixir to restore the pill spirit, but right now he was just trying to restore the constituent spirit of a demon beast, which wasn't something to make a fuss about. For the purpose of insurance, buying a spirit demon beast to experiment upon first was a good idea. Nobody could say anything. Since this is the matter, then myself will lead you to the biggest spirit beast shops. If we still haven't found it, then you can only select another spirit beast. Su Moshing said in a de-emphasizing tone and made an inviting gesture with his hand, but his heart and mind were in great turmoil. Su Moshing was indeed very familiar with this place because of the good relationship between the beast-taming sect and the Windflower Pavilion. Moreover, an elder of Su Moshing also had a good friendship with an expert of the beast-taming sect. The high-grade spirit beast pouch was gifted to him by that senior of the beast-taming sect. Because of this relationship, Su Moshing also knew about the internal events in the beast-taming sect. During the great calamity of devil cultivation, the beast-taming sect was one of the sects which had suffered relatively little damage, but they were not interested in devil cultivation methods at that time. Moreover, during that time, the sect was preoccupied with something else and hence didn't have the time to pay attention to it. After a senior of the beast-taming sect had ascended, he had left behind a formidable spirit beast. According to rumors it was believed to be at the Dacheng stage, but nobody had ever seen it. This was the sect guarding secret of the beast-taming sect, therefore the beast-taming sect had steadily held the position of a second-rate sect. But more than 10 years ago, this spirit beast senior's constituent spirit had slowly dissipated. Regardless of whatever methods the experts of the sect used, none had been able to solve this problem. The upper echelons of the sect had become anxious like a cat on a hot tin roof. And now Yang Chen's words about trying to restore the constituent spirit of a guardian spirit beast of the Pure Yang Palace had lit a torch in them, as if being thrown into a deep fryer. Su Moshing wished to immediately inform the people of the beast-taming sect about this and thus try to form friendship with them. But before that, he still endured the desire and acted as Yang Chen's guide. If he didn't serve Yang Chen well, why would Yang Chen help them? Su Moshing understood this point clearly. Even if he wanted to hit on Gongsun Ling at the beginning, that he had already gotten rid of those thoughts. First he had to concentrate on serving Yang Chen, anything else came after that. Within the spirit beast market, the scene made many people confused. Young Master Su Moshing of the Windflower Pavilion was serving Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling like a waiter with a pleasant smile across his entire face, traveling back and forth between the biggest spirit beast shops. Even after going to many shops, they weren't able to find an Ox family spirit beast. Only one place was left, the biggest shop in the spirit beast market, the 10,000 Beast Pavilion, opened by the beast-taming sect. This is the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion opened by the beast-taming sect, if they don't have it here, then it can't be found anywhere in the spirit beast market. Su Moshing introduced, while inviting them to go in. Originally Yang Chen had planned to follow behind Su Moshing, but after a casual sweep over the caged beasts, which were arranged in a row outside of the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion, he could not help but show his surprise. What happened? Bao Yu had heard it clearly and hastily asked. She knew that Yang Chen had found something abnormal. Nothing. Yang Chen used his spiritual awareness again to confirm that he hadn't been mistaken, and only then did he reply to his master, playing it down and went inside, following Su Moshing into the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion, without looking at it. Although Yang Chen had casually ignored it as if nothing had happened, within his heart, he still couldn't dare to believe what he had seen. When coming to the spirit beast market, Yang Chen's aim was precisely to spread the information that he could restore the constituent spirit of a living demon beast, to catch the big fish, the beast-taming sect. Yang Chen knew all about the matters of the beast-taming sect from his previous life. In his previous life, that Dacheng stage demon beast of the beast-taming sect had his constituent spirit dissipate and it had perished. Only after ascending to the spiritual world did he learn the method of restoring the constituent spirit. Such great resources, if Yang Chen didn't make use of them in this life, then wouldn't it be a complete waste? Seeing that it was more or less time for this event, Yang Chen had come out. As long as he could help that spirit beast senior of the beast-taming sect, it didn't need to be said that he would certainly gain a good impression with the entire beast-taming sect. This would draw a strength more or less comparable to the Pure Yang Palace to his side. But he hadn't thought that he would get such a pleasant surprise outside of the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion that it would make him distrust his eyes. Quickly ask Senior Liu to come out. These noble customers are seeking something. Once entering the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion, Su Moshing hastily instructed the outer disciple of the beast-taming sect to call the person responsible for the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion. He was in a hurry to inform the beast-taming sect about this good news. What kind of matter requires me to appear personally? Su Moshing really had great face here. In a moment, the master of the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion, Liu Yuanfeng, had personally appeared in front of everyone. Liu Yuanfeng was an initial Jidan stage expert and because he wanted to experience the mortal world, he was put in control of the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion. He was already an acquaintance of Su Moshing and he also showed a lot of consideration towards him. Hearing that Su Moshing was insisting on calling him, he quickly appeared. This is Pure Yang Palace's fellow Taoist Yang Chen. Su Moshing hastily introduced Yang Chen. Soon afterwards he immediately remembered that Gao Yu was Yang Chen's master and she should have been introduced first, but because of his impatience, he had introduced Yang Chen first, he then hurried to introduce Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling. It's an honor to meet you. Liu Yuanfeng was worthy of being called a businessman. Regardless of whether it was sincere or not, he immediately put on an enthusiastic face. Fellow Taoists of the Pure Yang Palace have honored me with their presence and have brought light to my humble store. I dare not boast, but regardless of whatever kind of spirit beasts fellow Taoists want, if my 10,000 Beasts Pavilion doesn't have it, then no other place will have it. Senior Liu, fellow Taoist Yang is looking for an Ox family spirit beast. Su Moshing had already become Yang Chen's spokesman and spoke in place of Yang Chen. Moreover, fearing that Liu Yuanfeng would not find it important, he added further. The guardian beast senior of the secret pavilion of the Pure Yang Palace had been injured and thus his constituent spirit had dissipated. Fellow Taoist Yang Chen wanted to test if he could use some elixir to restore it and wished to test it on a spirit beast. In fact, in the beginning, Liu Yuanfeng didn't think this was important. Even if they were people brought by Su Moshing, it was just a foundation stage youngster, so there was no need for him to be polite. Only after hearing Yang Chen's name, he couldn't help but be astonished. These past few days, Yang Chen's name had been constantly talked about. Not knowing about him was difficult. Although he had become polite, he was only polite on the surface, but after hearing Su Moshing's explanation, Liu Yuanfeng almost jumped in surprise. What kind of joke was this, restore the constituent spirit of a demon beast? So many experts of the beast-taming sect had been unable to solve this difficult problem, so how could a foundation stage youngster do it? But once this thought appeared in his mind, he immediately thought of the reason why Yang Chen was being talked about currently. He suddenly remembered that there had been an incident questioning if Yang Chen could refine a pill spirit restoring elixir or not. Restoring a pill spirit, restoring constituent spirit, if one absolutely insisted on distinguishing between them, then it could be said that a demon beast's constituent spirit was refined into a pill spirit. Another would be in the one case, the life of the demon beast is lost, and another one, the demon beast was alive. After making the connection between the two, this certainly didn't seem impossible anymore. The expressions on Liu Yuanfeng's face changed from shock to pleasant surprise, and then to crazily enthusiastic, not concealed from Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling's eyes. Both of them were unable to make any sense of the matter. Was it possible that this master of the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion was a lunatic or an idiot? How could his expressions be changing so fast? Enthusiasm born from the bottom of the heart was naturally different. After that Kai Layer disciple who had gone to inform Liu Yuanfeng came out, he didn't have any opportunity to do anything. He only kept looking at Master Liu, who usually was aloof and remote with a dumbstruck expression, as Master Liu transformed into the best kind of salesman. From pouring tea to accompanying the guest, he basically ran the entire show by himself. First he invited all three of them to sit, then this Jedan expert personally poured the best kind of tea he had and offered it to Yang Chen, Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling, then, sitting at the position of the shopkeeper he said with some embarrassment. Spirit beasts and pets of the ox family are extremely rare, currently we don't have any at the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion. After speaking this, he wrinkled his brows and thought for a long time, then said with some awkwardness. I really don't have any way. Is it possible to use other spirit beasts? This time Yang Chen still hadn't replied, but Su Moshing already started speaking in his place. Senior Liu, fellow Taoist Yang had said that if there really isn't any other way, other spirit beasts would also do. Then fellow Taoist Yang, please take a look at the beasts in my 10,000 Beasts Pavilion and see if you can use any. If you like something, don't hesitate to speak. Liu Yuanfeng naturally wanted to satisfy Yang Chen. If Yang Chen was successful, then the one saved would not only be the guardian beast of the Pure Yang Palace, the biggest winner would definitely be the beast-taming sect. For this reason, the beast-taming sect would not mind paying the price of a few low-level spirit beasts. Alas. Yang Chen sighed, showing his disappointment and stood up. In this case, we can only use a substitute. This junior will first take a look and then make the decision. At your convenience, fellow Taoist Yang. Liu Yuanfeng hastily indicated Su Moshing to take his place to accompany Yang Chen and his group and made the excuse of some urgent business and ran to the rear of the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion. Quickly, immediately relay this information to the sect master. Liu Yuanfeng used the highest grade summon he had to send the couriers to quickly relay the news to the beast-taming sect. Successful or not, let's consider Pure Yang Palace's Yang Chen. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 188 How to Resolve the Fairy Shy Situation. Hello Taoist Yang, whatever kind of spirit beast you want to use, choose without any hesitation. This place has the largest number of spirit beasts in the entire spirit beast market. Su Moshing enthusiastically guided Yang Chen to the place where the spirit beasts of the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion were displayed. They don't have any of the ox family, but choose whichever you find suitable. Yang Chen smiled and nodded his head slightly and then began to look at the highest grade spirit beasts of the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion. Looking at each of them one by one, he didn't seem satisfied with any of them. What? None of these are suitable. When Yang Chen had spent almost a time of almost 2 incense sticks in there and still hadn't chosen one. Liu Yuanfeng came back from the rear courtyard and was unable to control himself but asked with some astonishment. Whether or not they're suitable, this junior doesn't know. Yang Chen explained with a smile and then continued casually. This junior can only try to sense these spirit beasts' presence and see which one is closest to it. Liu Yuanfeng understood the explanation and he was very much wishing for Yang Chen to succeed. As long as he found a suitable subject and his experiment was successful, the beast-taming sect would gain great benefits. When Yang Chen didn't choose any spirit beast and shook his head in disappointment, Liu Yuanfeng's heart felt as if it was drowned at the bottom of an ocean of hopelessness. If those spirit beasts weren't suitable, he would have to ask the experts of the beast-taming sects to appear personally and ask them to catch some formidable demon beasts, like the heavenly full moon rhinoceros. There still seemed to be some left on the outside. I will go and take a look. When Yang Chen calmly began to step outside, Su Moshing hastily followed him. Liu Yuanfeng however didn't follow. Those spirit beasts on the outside were the lowest grade spirit beasts and didn't even have the qualifications to be placed inside of the shop and were thus placed outside. They weren't even chosen by rogue cultivators who didn't have any money, so he didn't think that those spirit beasts would satisfy Yang Chen's requirements in the least. This one? Will this one do? Suddenly, Liu Yuanfeng heard Su Moshing's astonished voice from the outside. Excitedly, he rushed outside to Yang Chen's side. He looked in the direction where Su Moshing was pointing and saw a spirit beast inside of a cage, whom he would be embarrassed to even call a demon beast. How could it be called a demon beast? It didn't have even a little spirit power on it. If one firmly insisted, then it could be said to have an extremely small trace. In other words, it could not even be counted to the grade of demon beasts. What astonished Liu Yuanfeng most was that this so-called demon beast was just a little pup. Its Shen hair wasn't even smooth, giving it a very filthy look. Hello Taoist Yang, this clearly is just a little pup, how can it be a demon beast? Not waiting for Liu Yuanfeng to say anything, Su Moshing had already spoken. Is it really suitable? It had that trace of presence, that's all. Maybe it can be used. Yang Chen faintly smiled and answered without saying much. Even though its presence is so weak that it basically can't even be called a spirit beast. Su Moshing was not worried that Yang Chen would choose the most formidable spirit beast. As long as he was successful, the beast-taming sect would even be willing to give it to him, but Yang Chen had chosen such a little pup. Wasn't he just mocking them? Hello Taoist Su, you must not underestimate the little pup. Yang Chen turned towards Su Moshing and faintly smiled. You should be aware that dogs can become as formidable as their master. It is just a dog, how much stronger can it even become? Su Moshing couldn't accept it and knitted his brows. Yang Erlang also had a dog known as Heavenly Roar, which was more powerful than many formidable spirit beasts. Yang Chen laughed and after saying this, without caring if the shopkeeper Liu Yuanfeng would agree or not, directly opened that cage and seized it by the neck, taking that little pup and bringing it in front of him. Nobody could discover the excitement in Yang Chen's heart. Fortunately it was Yang Chen who could maintain his calm without any change in expressions, but his heart was about to explode from happiness. Surprisingly, the mortal world had such a formidable spirit beast, and what was even more fortunate was that he was the one to find it. Indeed, when it rains, it pours. But unfortunately, everyone seeing him only considered it as a normal pup, and Yang Chen didn't have a way to share his happiness with others. Whether people considered it as a normal pup or not, Yang Chen didn't care. He remembered that, when Heavenly Roar had died, it was said that he had left behind a drop of blood essence in the mortal world, which could excite the blood vessels of any demon beast. Although this blood essence could not be said to significant compared to the wealth Yang Chen had, it could still be used to enhance the strength of this little pup. Moreover, this blood essence was also quite beneficial. It could confuse the majority of people to think that this little pup was Heavenly Roar. This one will do. Yang Chen indicated to Liu Yuanfeng that he had selected it. How many spirit stones? The fellow Taoist Yang Chen likes it, then take it without any hesitation. There is no need to pay any spirit stones. Liu Yuanfeng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The difference between the favor he wanted to ask from Yang Chen and this little pup, who had just a trace of spirit power, was like heaven and earth. How could he even ask for spirit stones from Yang Chen? It is a gift for you. That won't do. Yang Chen directly declined. Senior Liu is operating the sex business and giving it away for free would not be according to rules, and this junior doesn't want to break rules. Senior, it would be good if we settled the bill. Yang Chen didn't want to owe somebody for such a small thing. He did not have such an intimate friendship with Liu Yuanfeng, and he didn't want to gain karma which had no use for him. Business was business and friendship was friendship. Yang Chen didn't need to blame himself for this. Fine, if fellow Taoist Yang Chen insists, then you can buy it for 2 low-grade spirit stones. Liu Yuanfeng was also not unreasonable. In any case, it was only a matter of 2 low-grade spirit stones, not worthy of arguing with Yang Chen, so he waved his hand and set the price. I would still like to purchase a spirit beast pouch so that this junior has a place for it. Since he was acting, he had to complete the whole act. In any case, it was just a matter of a few more low-grade spirit stones, so naturally he had to buy it all. Liu Yuanfeng gave the instructions at once, and that outer disciple who had been serving them swiftly returned to the shop and quickly retrieved a spirit beast pouch and delivered it to Yang Chen. This time, the clever assistant quickly announced the price without needing for Liu Yuanfeng to speak. This spirit beast pouch is quite ordinary, it also costs 2 low-grade spirit stones. For that little filthy pup, even this ordinary spirit beast pouch seemed to be extravagant, but since Yang Chen had insisted, there was no need to say anything more. In any case, when Liu Yuanfeng looked at Yang Chen's serious expressions, he could not help but be glad. Fortunately he had placed this filthy pup outside to make up for the numbers, otherwise if Yang Chen hadn't found a suitable spirit beast, it would have been a great inconvenience. Yang Chen had guessed his intention spot on, but unfortunately Yang Chen could only secretly be happy within his heart and could not speak to anyone, having to swallow his happiness. Spirit beast pouches were things which provided a spirit beast with a comfortable place to reside, moreover, it allowed the spirit beast to slowly recover their energy, even if it was the most ordinary spirit beast pouch. Compared to that cage, however, it was many times more comfortable. Yang Chen immediately placed the little pup into the spirit beast pouch and then hung it from his waist. After paying the price, Yang Chen expressed his gratitude toward Su Moshing and then solemnly said his goodbyes to Su Moshing and Liu Yuanfeng, and then he started moving towards Puryang Palace. Regardless of how unwilling they were, Liu Yuanfeng and Su Moshing had no option but to see off Yang Chen and his group with a smile. They didn't have any other option. If Yang Chen didn't test his method once, how could they allow him to treat the beast-taming sect senior? What are you doing? After having departed from the spirit beast market for a while and checking around that no one was near them, Gao Yu asked softly. Purchasing a spirit beast. Yang Chen laughed. And attracting some business to concoct pills. Concoct pills. Gao Yu and Gongsun Ling immediately thought of the matter which Yang Chen had discussed with Su Moshing at the spirit beast market and seemed to realize something. Could it be that it was the beast-taming sect? Yes. Yang Chen replied, nodding his head. Very few people knew this information on the outside. Gongsun Ling and Gao Yu had not come out of the sect recently, so not knowing things was completely normal. And I believed that you were still toying with them for your amusement. Gongsun Ling also suddenly realized this and spoke in a complaining tone, not too lightly and not too harshly. Forget about me, senior apprentice sister. That Windflower Pavilion Su Moshing seems to have taken fancy to you, congratulations. Yang Chen's gaze swept over Gongsun Ling and suddenly he began to tease her. He also seemed cultured and elegant, what do you think, Gongsun Ling? Yang Chen. For some reason, hearing Yang Chen's joke, she suddenly grew furious. You should not talk rubbish. As for a Dao companion, it seems that Green Jade Immortal Island's Fairy Shy is still waiting for you, isn't she? Gongsun Ling didn't know why she was so angry, moreover when she blurted Fairy Shy's name, she felt unhappy in her heart. This mysterious sensation was too difficult to bear for her. Once the name of Fairy Shy came up, even Yang Chen didn't know what to say. Gao Yu also couldn't say anything, and those three didn't have anything to talk about, making for an awkward atmosphere. Everyone was walking awkwardly, unable to endure. The palace master still has a decision to make about that clan, so we must hurry on our path. After walking silently for a good while, Yang Chen raised the issue and proposed the solution. None of the women were against the suggestion and nodded their heads in approval, taking out their flying swords at the same time and beginning to fly towards the Miking Mountains. On the entire way, everyone had tacitly turned silent and didn't say anything. Palace Master Zhang Jiao, together with a few elders were gathered, and the Hall Master of the Law Enforcement Hall was also there when Yang Chen released the people of that clan in front of them. The clan chief wasn't feeling lucky to try anything in front of Palace Master Zhang Jiao. His 5 senses had already been sealed by Yang Chen, so he immediately collapsed on the ground and narrated his entire conspiracy with Helianian, including the matter of that mysterious person. What kind of person shits where he eats? Colluding with outsiders to conspire against disciples of their own sect. Wang Yong's current cultivation was very high and thus his temperament was a lot better. But upon hearing that someone had schemed against his disciple and grand disciple, how could he still endure? He immediately slapped and shattered the desk in the hall where official business was discussed. Palace Master, if there isn't any clear explanation for this, don't blame me for being unreasonable. Let alone speak of Wang Yong, the Palace Master Zhang Jiao himself was also shaking with rage. Even the complexion of Hall Master Meng Xian had turned black and his brows were tightly wrinkled. Puryang Palace always seemed to have such a disciple, having evil intentions towards the sect. Everyone's gaze, intentionally or otherwise, turned towards Lin Yunfeng. When it came to people who tended to target Yang Chen and his master Gao Yu, apart from the people of the Luminous Moon Hall, there wasn't anyone. Moreover, Luminous Moon Hall's hallmaster, Liang Xiaoming himself was the disciple of Lin Yunfeng and had tried to scheme against Yang Chen, making him the most likely suspect. Liang Xiaoming is still going through his punishment, how could he go out? Lin Yunfeng knew why was everyone looking at him and hastily clarified. While being the target of anger for so many people, such a matter could not be admitted, even if he were beaten to death. Even having a connection should be out of question. Hallmaster Meng. With a furious face, Palace Master Zhang Jiao instructed Hallmaster Meng. I order you to find out the traitor of the sect. But the words from the Palace Master, the person of the sect who had colluded with Helianian, had already been marked as a traitor, but nobody disagreed. Hallmaster Meng Xian agreed and didn't say anything, but anyone could sense the anger rising from the bottom of his heart. About these clansmen, how should we deal with them? Yang Chen still hadn't returned those clansmen to the back, but it still caught many people off guard. Nobody knew that Yang Chen had also taken Gi Shanyu with him and had thought that Yang Chen, Gongsun Ling and Gao Yu were the only people who had gone. After hearing everything from the people of the clan, they also had to be punished, so an elder asked immediately. For the time being, we will just hold them and wait for Helianian to be caught. After that, we will execute all of them publicly as a warning to everyone who wants to fight. Zhang Jiao had already made these plans and calmly explained them to everyone. Not killing them immediately, fearing that Helianian would get the information and flee. Strictly speaking, compared to finding the traitor of the Puryang Palace, punishing those clansmen was a trivial matter. Nobody cared about them. From the time they provoked Puryang Palace they were already doomed. Puryang Palace's dignity could not lightly be trampled by anyone. After the group of elders scattered, only Palace Master Zhang Jiao and Wang Yong were left behind. They were still questioning Yang Chen. Yang Chen took the initiative and without waiting for them to say anything, he narrated everything that occurred on the journey. What did you say? You have the key to cure that senior of the beast-taming sect? What kind of person was Zhang Jiao? He immediately understood the intentions of Yang Chen when he said those words. The palace master had no guardian beast whose constituent spirit had dissipated, nobody knew that more clearly than him. These kind of tactics which Yang Chen used were beneficial for Puryang Palace and could build an alliance, so why wouldn't the palace master be in favor of it? Seeing Yang Chen, he was elated and without being stingy with praise he said. It seems that my Puryang Palace really requires a guardian beast who has a dissipated constituent spirit which can be cured by you. Many thanks for helping, Palace Master. Yang Chen laughed and made his salutations, completely different from those other disciples who would remain nervous in front of him. This can't be called help. Zhang Jiao shook his head. You have rendered a great merit if you manage this well. Whatever reward you want, ask for it. Then disciple will not be polite. Yang Chen stood up straight and asked. Disciple wants to know how you are going to deal with the matter of Fairy Shy of the Green Jade Immortal Islands. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 189 Favor drops by voluntarily. Earlier because of the great calamity of devil cultivation, nearly all big sects were in chaos and didn't have the time to discuss the matter of Yang Chen's Dao companion. Afterwards he was under the pressure because his reputation was being tarnished by Helianian and that clan, so this matter was pushed to the back of his head. Originally the palace master had intended for this matter to resolve itself, but since Yang Chen himself had taken the initiative to raise the issue, the palace master had no other option than to make clear where he stood. Green Jade Immortal Islands Fairy Shy. Palace master Zhang Jiao forced a bitter smile. Looking at Yang Chen, he suddenly asked. Regarding cultivation talent, perception, beauty and cultivation, Fairy Shy apparently has it all. If you form a sturdy bond with Fairy Shy by becoming her Dao companion, it will also form a good relationship between the Green Jade Immortal Islands and my Puryang Palace. Are you really against it? Palace Master Zhang Jiao's words were facts. Hearing Min Huifeng and Guan Yuing's opinions, it was clear that they were very much looking forward to Yang Chen and Shai Shanshan becoming Dao companions. If Yang Chen really accepted Shai Shanshan, then the relationship of both sects would advance one more step, no doubt about it. Not only the relationship between the sects, even Yang Chen himself becoming Dao companion with someone who had a full metal spirit root would have many advantages for his cultivation. Unfortunately, Yang Chen couldn't accept Shai Shanshan. His master's image had filled his vision for more than 10,000 years, including both lives, so how could he easily agree to become Dao companions with someone else? I don't have any problems with other things, but Fairy Shai's temperament is somewhat cold and not quite suitable for Yang Chen. At this point, Wang Yong was completely in support of Yang Chen. Moreover, the age difference her and Yang Chen is large, so she doesn't seem very suitable. Fairy Shy had already reached the initial Jidan stage, even if she was a cultivation genius and hadn't even encountered the smallest of accidents, it would still require at least 100 years. As for Yang Chen, taking everything into account, he was at most 40, so if someone absolutely insisted, then it could really be considered a problem. However, cultivators had extremely long lives, moreover, before their cultivation reached a bottleneck, maintaining one's appearance was easy. So this matter of age was just forcefully twisting logic to find fallacies. The palace master looked at Yang Chen and then at Wang Yong defending him, everything seemed to be out of his expectation. But his face was completely calm and collected and he only shot a faint glance at Gao Yu sitting to his side and sighed within his heart. Fine, since you are so unwilling, then I will talk about it with the island master of the Green Jade Immortal Islands. Despite Zhang Jiao declaring his stand, Yang Chen still had a trace of uncertainty within his heart. Perhaps looking at Zhanxian's circumstances at that time, he was afraid that she had taken things too close to heart. Moreover, later Min Huifeng had also agreed, thus making the matter difficult to resolve. But regardless of what was said, the day was still far from over. The matters of the future could be settled in the future. Presently, Yang Chen still required the palace master to put up an act with him and calmly wait for the people of the beast-taming sect to drop in. When he was joking with Gongsun Ling on the journey and she had used the matter of Zhanxian to attack him, Yang Chen simply forgot about the little pup he had just purchased. It was simply put into the spirit beast pouch without any concern. Fortunately, the spirit beast pouch offered a cozy environment and that clever assistant had moreover placed many types of food inside, so for some time, there would be no change in it. Yang Chen would naturally not attach much importance to the lowest grade spirit beast pouch. After returning to his own courtyard, Yang Chen greeted the old tree demon once and then pulled out the little pup from the spirit beast pouch. Because of not having any special traits, this little pup had not been cared for much at the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion, but after staying comfortably in the spirit beast pouch these past few days, it seemed full of spirit. After washing the pup cleanly, Yang Chen suddenly smiled while looking at the ash-gray pup. In the beginning, it was only a shallow laugh, but afterwards he was completely unable to repress his emotions and burst out laughing until his belly started to ache. Even if he had been reborn and possessed the memories of a generation, Yang Chen hadn't expected that such a huge golden pie would fall into his lap. Within the memories of his previous life, no such thing had appeared, neither did the secular world have any such spirit beast which could even shake the immortal world. Perhaps it was because of the different appearance in the beginning, therefore without proper care, this little thing died before it could reach its full potential. Or perhaps it was because of some other reason, but regardless of what was said, in this life not only had it caught Yang Chen's eye, but he had also gotten his hands on it. This was Yang Chen's immortal karma. He would certainly cherish it. Only, Yang Chen couldn't rejoice for long. Such a formidable spirit beast had unexpectedly fallen into his hands in such a dramatic manner, which made him skeptical about how, apart from his memories of the previous life, his fortune had become so extremely formidable. If your origins were publicized, then I fear that it would really shock anyone. Focusing his attention on that slightly shy pup in his room, Yang Chen spoke towards it. Whatever calling you heavenly roar will be fine, moreover, everyone would think that you are a common dog. Wait for the day when I can find the blood essence left behind by Yang Erlang and patch you up first. After saying this, regardless of whether the little pup understood or not, he directly threw it into the Yang Mountain's medicine garden and said. Heavenly roar, you should not eat the things inside indiscriminately and instead wait for me to find a suitable high-grade spirit beast pouch for you. Heavenly roar's circular eyes were scuttling gazes at Yang Chen, slanting its head to look at Yang Chen. Yang Chen patted its small head, massaged it and then released it into the medicine garden. On the next day, Yang Chen began to concoct a pill at the Nine Earth Manor. He wasn't refining the elixir for restoring a constituent spirit, instead he made the appearance-changing pill which he had promised to Scarface. The refining requirements of the appearance-changing pill were relatively high, moreover, some of the raw materials were difficult to find, even with the strength of the greatest heaven sect. But after plundering for so long, Yang Chen had already gathered everything and had begun the refining in advance, while waiting for Scarface to return so that he could make the exchange. Yang Chen had to spend a full year to start the furnace this time. Because of the addition of the Nanming fire, the grade of the profound spirit furnace had been raised by another level and it had become even more proficient at the job, cutting the time of refining in half. Yang Chen didn't have any refining experience in his previous life, but with so much knowledge and the formidable technique from the pill scripture of the Great Supreme Elder, he could successfully refine with the first attempt. 4 batches of raw materials were used up, returning 4 appearance-changing pills. The 100% success rate even made Yang Chen feel a little proud of himself. Observing the appearance-changing pill in his spirit sea once concluded the experience, only then did he come out of seclusion and immediately received the information that a senior of the beast-taming sect had come. Senior Fan Shan. When Yang Chen saw Fan Shan before his eyes, he was caught off guard as if not daring to believe his eyes. Only after confirming it again did he believe it. The beast-taming sect had unexpectedly sent his acquaintance. Junior brother Yang. The person who had come was Senior Fan Shan, who had helped in refining the demon beast when refining the heaven-seizing pill. However, at this moment, Fan Shan didn't have the slightest air of a senior and was addressing him like a friend instead. Fan Shan had given sufficient face to Yang Chen and Pure Yang Palace this time. He had already come here 3 months ago, but after finding out that Yang Chen was refining a pill, he forcibly waited for 3 months without showing the slightest impatience. His manner was nothing to complain about. When the heaven-seizing pill was being refined, most of the time the other people were working, while Yang Chen and Fan Shan were observing and chatting. They had a much closer contact. From the beginning, Fan Shan hadn't shown any great arrogance and was quite amiable towards Yang Chen, and Yang Chen also had a somewhat favorable opinion of Fan Shan. "We are honored by your presence, Senior Fan Shan. What instructions do you have for us?" Yang Chen asked respectfully. After all, Fan Shan was a Yuning stage expert, moreover one who had the unique skill to control a Dacheng stage demon beast. Even Yang Chen didn't dare to put his beast-taming secrets to test against his. "My sect is currently in a very difficult situation and you possibly have a solution here, so I have specifically come to ask." Fan Shan also didn't speak any nonsense and directly came to the point. "The senior of our sect has not been well these past few years." Fan Shan didn't beat around the bush. In any case, there were only Yang Chen and Fan Shan too there, so he was not afraid of other people overhearing them and frankly asked. "That senior's constituent spirit has faced some wear and tear. Your words at the 10,000 Beasts Pavilion about creating a pill to recover the constituent spirit, was it successful?" "Very difficult to say. My sect's problem has been solved, but there are different methods to heal constituent spirits based on the cause of the problem." Yang Chen didn't give a definite reply directly, but rather replied ambiguously. "I don't know what the senior's actual situation is. I can only say anything after taking a look." Fan Shan was appreciative towards Yang Chen's cautious manner. Those who made guarantees for the solution before hearing the problem were definitely the kind of people who either did not understand it perfectly or hadn't succeeded in doing it. In any case, Yang Chen's cautious approach gave people an impression of someone knowledgeable. Especially hearing that Pure Yang Palace's problem had been solved was good news, because it definitely meant that the guarding beast who had sustained injuries and had his constituent spirit dissipated had recovered. If Yang Chen could solve such injuries, perhaps he could settle other reasons too. "Young friend, let's go on a trip, come with your elder brother to examine the situation." Fan Shan lowered his status by a lot and directly called himself elder brother. "Elder brother has personally come to ask you, so please give me some face. Regardless of whether you can cure him or not, my entire beast-taming sect will be in your gratitude." Regarding Fan Shan's invitation, Yang Chen hadn't intended to decline. From the beginning, Yang Chen was waiting for the people of the beast-taming sect to drop in. How could he miss such an opportunity? Only, some matters still required the palace master to appear personally. Yang Chen could not take his place. "Senior Fan Shan." Yang Chen had barely called him when Fan Shan already opened his mouth to correct him. "Don't call me senior, I am not that old, you should call me elder brother." "Okay, elder brother Fan." Yang Chen followed his advice readily and directly changed his address. "I was going to Palace Master Zhang Jiao to make the report, then I will accompany elder brother to go on the trip." "This is only natural." Fan Shan naturally didn't say anything. It would be a miracle if Yang Chen didn't make any report to the Palace Master. "This elder brother will also pay a visit to your noble Palace Master." Fan Shan was totally oblivious that everything had already been planned by Yang Chen and Palace Master Zhang Jiao. After both of them met Zhang Jiao, the Palace Master heard everything, then as if realizing everything suddenly, he instructed Yang Chen to help as much as possible. While talking, the guardian beast of the Pure Yang Palace whom Yang Chen had cured naturally also came up, which Yang Chen had already confessed to Palace Master Zhang Jiao about, so naturally the Palace Master confirmed what Yang Chen had told Fan Shan earlier. The Palace Master immediately agreed to do a favor to Fan Shan, a favor to the beast-taming sect. After paying a visit to the Palace Master, Yang Chen also made a report to his master, Gao Yu, then he followed Fan Shan and left the Miking Mountains to go to the beast-taming sect at the Yangliang Mountain. Fan Shan was very anxious and directly took Yang Chen along on his flying sword, and within less than 30 days, they arrived at the beast-taming sect. After hastily leading Yang Chen to meet a few seniors of the beast-taming sect, he didn't delay for a single moment and directly led him to that senior demon beast whose constituent spirit was dissipating. At the rear part of sect within a huge cavern, Yang Chen met that demon beast senior. It was an enormous black tiger with a body several times larger than common tigers, lazily basking in the sun at the mouth of the cavern. From the body of the demon beast, some guesses about its cultivation could easily be made, however there were two prerequisites. One was that it hadn't cultivated any appearance-transforming secrets, another was that its cultivation should have reached the Dacheng stage. Although this black tiger was enormous, compared to Shai Kui and Xie whose bodies were several hundred meters long, its body had already shrunk. After cultivating to the Dacheng stage and passing the yin fire tribulation, the yin fire had already refined the impurities within its body, and the body size had reduced a lot. The black tiger in front of his eyes was in exactly these circumstances. Fan Shan had come together with a beast-taming sex expert. The black tiger only snuck a glance at them, not paying them any heed, lying on its stomach and enjoying the warmth of the sunlight. But when it looked at Yang Chen following behind Fan Shan, the black tiger lifted its head with some suspicion. Its eyes were emitting an insulting gaze, as if wanting to pierce Yang Chen's eyes. Uncle Master, disciple has found a pill-concocting master, who can perhaps help in settling Master's dissipating constituent spirit. Fan Shan and the others stopped a few steps in front of him and uniformly bowed. I apologize for causing you some inconvenience, but I still request Uncle Master to pardon me. This little boy is interesting, step forward and let me take a look. Suddenly the black tiger spoke human words, which could make anyone feel bewildered. But the people present kept their calm, with an accustomed expression. I formally pay my respects to Senior. Yang Chen respectfully stepped forward and respectfully saluted him. This black tiger had entered the Dacheng stage several years earlier than Gi Shanyu and had a formidable cultivation. It definitely discovered the anomaly within Yang Chen's spiritual awareness. All of this was within Yang Chen's expectations. You have a way. The black tiger observed Yang Chen for a good moment, only then did it open its mouth and began to talk. This junior doesn't dare to be sure. Yang Chen replied with a bow. Before being certain, this junior requires to do an inspection of senior and find the reason, only then can this junior make accurate judgments. Yang Chen's words were as careful as ever, he had used the word judgment instead of claiming to prescribe the correct medicine. For what reason? The black tiger roared. When this old man passed the yin fire tribulation, the yin fire had left behind some internal energy which had flared after several hundred years, so do you have a way? If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more. Chapter 190 I will assist you in dealing with him. Once these words left the mouth of Black Tiger, immediately the few experts of the beast-taming sect present on the scene were stunned. For several years, they had tried to find the reason of the problem, but they hadn't been able to find it, but no one among them had anticipated that the Black Tiger himself knew the root of the problem. However, what they didn't understand was why hadn't the Black Tiger informed them even after knowing the cause of his constituent spirit dissipation. Perhaps, because the Black Tiger knew that their cultivation was not sufficient and thus can't help in solving the problem. But, if this was true and the Black Tiger had tried to conceal his illness, then why did it told Yang Chen, whom it was seeing first time that it had sustained internal injuries, could it be that it already knew that Yang Chen can cure its unmentionable illness? However, Yang Chen was just a trifling foundation stage junior. Whether it was naked observation or probing with spiritual awareness, Fan Shan and the others couldn't see anything extraordinary in Yang Chen, so what had made the senior Black Tiger see him in such favorable light? However, Yang Chen wasn't the slightest bit amazed. Previously, the old tree demon had called Yang Chen a little calf with a single look. This senior Black Tiger had entered the Dacheng stage several hundred years before the old tree demon, so him sensing few clues was perfectly normal. Perhaps it was only because of the assembly of people and the glimmer of hope he'd seen in him that Senior Black Tiger had told him the cause in just one meeting. If I could ask Senior to answer the following questions. How severe is your injury, what kind of circumstances does it flare up under, and furthermore, what is Senior sensing presently? Without paying attention to the astounded gaze of those around him, Yang Chen respectfully asked. You all, return. Allow this little friend and I to chat. The Black Tiger didn't reply directly, but rather used his tail to signal to Fan Shan and the others that he wanted privacy. Fan Shan and others didn't dare to neglect his wishes in the slightest. Moreover, they were perfectly aware that Yang Chen, as just a foundation stage junior, was incapable of harming the Black Tiger. As such, everyone respectfully bid their farewells and vacated the cave, leaving just Yang Chen and the Black Tiger inside the cave. Strange little friend. After everyone had left, the Black Tiger again lay on his stomach and said. So in the end, are you a cultivator or a little calf? Senior's perception is so piercing, this junior is greatly admiring. Yang Chen slightly flattered him and then replied. This junior is a cultivator, but has had the opportunity to study the cultivation method of the demon race. Pure Yang Palace's cultivation method? Senior Black Tiger asked again. No. Yang Chen immediately rebuffed that notion and explained. Junior is fond of reading various books and obtained that cultivation method from one of them. This time after curing the senior, I will once again request various books from your noble sect. The Black Tiger didn't much care about Yang Chen's puny request. In fact, his primary interest lay in whether Yang Chen could recover his constituent spirit or not. Have you tested this method on yourself? Tested? Yang Chen nodded. I have tested it on the sect's guardian beast. However, senior's circumstances are a little strange and perhaps there is some inconvenience that needs tending first. What kind of trouble? The Black Tiger interestedly asked. Since it concerned himself, even if he didn't care about life or death, but he didn't want to spare any effort in thoroughly investigating the method. Senior has injuries from the heavenly tribulation, which is similar to the injuries of the guardian beast senior of my sect. Yang Chen explained a little, making the Black Tiger feel somewhat relieved, then continued. But senior's injuries certainly are more grave compared to that senior of my sect, therefore it will take slightly more time. Can senior provide me with specific circumstances of your injury? Prove your method to me. The Black Tiger thought for a long moment and said. If the one standing in front of the Black Tiger was an ill-tempered pillmaster, he would have immediately stormed off in a huff. The Black Tiger was merely assisting him in the diagnosis and he still wanted more proof. Yang Chen had already said that he had cured a demon beast with similar injuries, what more proof does he want? But Yang Chen knew that the Black Tiger was a Dacheng expert and if not for the old injuries, maybe he would have already surpassed Elder Wu. Originally he had intended to peacefully welcome his death, but suddenly a foundation stage junior was telling him that he could be healed. So naturally he had to put quite a bit of thought into it. Yang Chen unleashed the beast-taming secrets and his thoughts met the senior Black Tiger's spiritual awareness. Immediately, the both of them exchanged their thoughts without any kind of barrier. Just this allowed the Black Tiger to lay the majority of his hesitations to rest. At the same time, Yang Chen also received a great amount of information from the Black Tiger. What astonished Yang Chen was the inclusion of images of when the Black Tiger had overcome heavenly tribulation as well as many other experiences. Naturally, the most detailed information was about the injury, which was included within the process of heavenly tribulation described to Yang Chen. The beast-taming secrets was indeed convenient and also ensured the utmost secrecy. No wonder Senior Black Tiger had insisted upon proof before answering the questions. Just the information of heavenly tribulation was of great use to Yang Chen. Even if it was of no use to him, when the time of Shikui and Xisha's heavenly tribulation comes, then this information could be used to great benefit if consulted. The exchange happened in an instant and broke off just as quickly. Even if outsiders were spying on the two, they would only think that the both of them had gone silent for a moment. No one would even imagine that a short instant had been more informative, persuasive, and detailed than a conversation held for several days and nights. Yang Chen's face turned grave as he began to analyze the problems, the condition of injury and the sensations after cultivation. Only after fully evaluating the variables could Yang Chen judge what was required for treatment. There was no need to wonder whether he could cure this problem or not. There was no doubt to that conclusion. Otherwise Yang Chen also wouldn't invested so much effort in acting. But what kind of price needed to be paid for the complete recovery of Senior Black Tiger required considerable deliberation. Senior, your injury has been left untended for too long. Although you have suppressed it with your great cultivation, its recent flare-ups have made it quite troublesome to manage. Yang Chen also wasn't afraid to tell the complete truth and directly got to point. My method can allow you to stabilize the condition of your injuries within 5 years. But for complete recovery, at least an additional 10 years would be required, so from the beginning to end, it will take around 15 years. Is Senior willing to receive my treatment? 15 years' time, I can wait. The Black Tiger's tail once again lashed from side to side and slowly said. If you want anything, go look for those youngsters who brought you here. But the conversation at an end, his tone already held the tone of one chasing away a customer. Then this junior will take his leave. Yang Chen again bowed and took his leave. However, before he left, the Black Tiger said from behind. My beast-taming sect isn't a rich and overbearing sect, so don't extort them excessively. Don't worry, Senior. A smile split Yang Chen's face as he left in the direction Fan Shan and others had taken. Outside this region, Fan Shan and others were waiting anxiously, wondering what Yang Chen and Senior Black Tiger were discussing. Their primary worry was whether Yang Chen could rescue their senior or not. As their apprehension grew to a peak, they suddenly saw Yang Chen's figure making its way towards them. Younger brother, what happened? Fan Shan almost ran over to Yang Chen and nervously asked. It wasn't just Fan Shan, everyone else were also equally uneasy. For the beast-taming sect, having Senior Black Tiger and not having Senior Black Tiger were two diametrically different situations, so they couldn't help but worry. And be cured. Yang Chen knew their situation and made no show with his reply. When Yang Chen's words reached them, all the Yuning experts immediately let out a long sigh without caring for appearances. The mood at the scene also immediately became relaxed. Only. Looking at their relaxed expressions, Yang Chen couldn't help but caution them calmly, slowly changing the topic. What? There is still some trouble. The hearts of Fan Shan and others tightened again, wondering what the wrinkle was. It will require at least 15 years. Yang Chen also didn't keep them hanging and immediately continued. Moreover, the amount of ingredients required is not a small number, you all should prepare yourself mentally. After all, Senior's injury is a result of overcoming the yin fire tribulation, it is far from ordinary. Hearing that the complications were only some extra time and excessive cost, everyone's hearts grew a tiny bit relaxed. Curing a Dacheng expert's injuries easily was naturally an impossible task, so all of them had long been mentally prepared for an exorbitant price to pay. On the contrary, when Yang Chen confidently told them his caveats, everyone felt relief. This was finally a guarantee that Senior Black Tiger could finally be saved. As for 15 years, compared to the long life of cultivators, this time would simply used for a nap, no one cared about it much. Despite rejoicing, Fan Shan didn't dare to drop all forms of etiquette towards Yang Chen, rather becoming even more careful in his speech as he said. Whatever ingredients you need, younger brother, just make a list. Although my beast-taming sect cannot be compared to big sects like Greatest Heaven Sector 5 Phases sect, but we also cannot undervalue ourselves. This was only natural, the ingredients needed for treatment were definitely the responsibility of beast-taming sect. It was only right and proper, so Fan Shan did not bother Yang Chen with it. On the contrary, these words of Fan Shan were about thanking Yang Chen with a gift. For delaying 15 years worth of pill concocting cultivation, younger brother, this elder brother will repay you with a great favor. Fan Shan patted his chest and said. I cannot speak about other matters, but of that Elianian who tried to tarnish your reputation, sect disciples have already found his location. This elder brother will go in your place and settle the problem for you. Fan Shan undertaking the task would cause far less waves than having Yang Chen and Puryang Palace disposing of him. However, Fan Shan was trying to be thoughtful and wanted to take care of this little worry for Yang Chen. Found his whereabouts. Yang Chen was startled and his face revealed a smile. This was an unexpectedly pleasant surprise. Without any politeness, Yang Chen raised his request. Elder brother, when you take care of him, please keep in mind that he has a flame that is of great use to me, your younger brother. Specifically, it is the real moon fire. Rest assured. Fan Shan nodded vigorously. As long as he or his disciples have any kind of flame, I will bring it for you. Young friend Yang, if you still have any other request, please feel free to ask, my beast-taming sect will not haggle. As soon as Fan Shan had finished speaking, the master of beast-taming sect immediately continued in the same vein, reiterating their gratefulness. Delaying 15 years of cultivation, in addition to the favor of rescuing a Dacheng stage expert, cannot be repaid fully by simply getting rid of that trifling Helianian and seizing the real moon fire, even if the real moon fire was already very precious. For the beast-taming sect it was but a scant portion of what they owed Yang Chen. Since Senior is being so generous, then this junior will also not be polite. Yang Chen turned towards the master of beast-taming sect, bowing once before continuing. Junior has a bad habit of being fond of various sorts of books. If Senior's sect has some books which are not related to cultivation, then I would request Senior to bestow them to this junior. This junior will be extremely grateful. Junior also won't ask for much, just 20,000 books will be sufficient. That's not a problem. Hearing Yang Chen only wanted some books, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Each sect and school had many books unrelated to cultivation. Even if they didn't have enough, it was easy enough to send out people to collect the required number for Yang Chen. 20,000 books, this number had been spread from Clear Sky sect. Apparently when Yang Chen had rescued Elder Hua wanting of Clear Sky sect, he had demanded the same number of books. He had also been granted the qualifications to enter in the Clear Sky sect's auction. This was not a secret, everyone was fully aware of the particulars. Compared to Elder Hua Wanting who had recently become Dacheng stage expert, Senior Black Tiger was much more important to the beast-taming sect. So, 20,000 books, Helianian, and his flames were far too profitable a trade for the beast-taming sect. Although it didn't have an influence as large as Clear Sky sect, beast-taming sect also wasn't miserly. Without waiting for Yang Chen to mention it, the master of beast-taming sect immediately realized and added for Yang Chen. Young friend Yang, you are welcome to my beast-taming sect auction anytime you want. Everyone tacitly understood not to raise the issue of relations between the two sects. The beast-taming sect also owed the Puryang Palace, together with Yang Chen. However, this is a problem between sect masters. As a youngster, there was no use raising it in front of Yang Chen. Alright, seniors, this junior will require the assistance of my sex medicine hall's hallmaster uncle, Master Zhu's help this time. Yang Chen suddenly remembered something and asked. The Lianyan's pill concocting furnace was pretty good, do you think you can part with it to gift it to my uncle Master Zhu? Before his realm had fallen, He Lianyan was a middle Yuning stage cultivator. He was also one of the people invited by Elder Wu to refine the heaven-seizing pill. As such, his pill concocting level was not low, and his furnace was first class. When all was said and done, Zhu Chentao was a Jidant stage expert and his furnace wasn't of a very good grade. This would be a very profitable exchange for him. You just need to mention such trivial matters to consider them done. The master of the beast-taming sect immediately agreed to Yang Chen's small request. Not only that, he also added one more thing. After taking care of He Lianyan, of all the pill recipes we receive from him, my beast-taming sect will keep one copy and give another copy to your noble sect as a small gift. After this, Yang Chen didn't make any more requests and immediately took out an empty jade slip on the spot to mark all the materials required. Since he had agreed to do this for them, he would see it through to the end. The items that he had stocked under the supervision of Shengyu and Feng, he immediately marked. As long as they paid the price, it would save Beast Taming Sect a lot of trouble and searching. The experts of Beast Taming Sect were extremely grateful for this consideration and favor. After entertaining Yang Chen for some more time, they sent him back to Puryang Palace in grand style. This time, on the journey, apart from his old friend Fan Shan, the master of Beast Taming Sect had also followed. Some of these matters needed the consensus reached between the master of Beast Taming Sect and the palace master of Puryang Palace. As soon as Beast Taming Sect's master together with Fan Shan entered Puryang Palace, it immediately gave rise to huge chaos. Puryang Palace's palace master and a few elders came out together to welcome them and discuss recent affairs. After extending his greetings to everyone and leaving the Beast Taming Sect delegates in their hands, Yang Chen went towards the medicine hall. If you're enjoying the content, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe to Fantasy World for more.